save a small fortune. Who knows where it'll lead? Offer ends June 30th, so find your Luxair dealer fast at 1-800-LUXAIRE.
Well, the next heat cars are out rolling around, so let's find out who the winner was at heat number 2. He's with Dave Argerbright.
Well, Ralph, we've got P.J. Chesson. You broke a rear end earlier tonight, got it fixed. You got to be happy with where you are, aren't you?
I'm extremely happy. We got everything together thanks to our crew here, my dad and Scott and Brad Bennick. We got things back together and got out front in that heat race. And Casey was giving us some trouble there in the middle of the race, but that was fun. And we got there in the end, so it was a good race.
Ralph, back to you.
All right, we're getting set to go with heat number 3. Napa heat 3. Here's your grid. Darren Pittman, Dale Blaney, Danny Wood, and Ricky Logan in row 2. Tim Schaefer and the Hurricane in row 3. And we're going green, Laney, Bennett, Burke, and the rest of Wood as we're underway. Darren Pittman is just flying down the back straightaway in the 3 car.
Whoa, and Hannigan just made 3 wide into turn 3, split the middle and made a bold move.
Wood runs in second. Blaney right behind him. There's Schaefer, the vibrant number 11. Darren Pittman is in a J&J chassis with a Shaver engine. And I got to tell you, that Shaver engine is just flying this weekend. He was super strong last night, too, racing with Danny Lasowski in the heat races, constantly pulling Danny down the straightaways.
Now, Kenny Woodruff, the crew chief on that car, been loyal with Shaver engines and J&J chassis for years.
Kenny Woodruff, one of the best-known crew chiefs, Steve, really has him working well.
And you know, Dale Blaney, who's running so strong right here in second spot, has been in the top 10 the 11 previous races. He just needs to get on the podium a couple of times to move up in the points. He's 6th now.
Danny Wood leading this thing. Remember, he has that broken scapula in it, talking about the banging off the cushion, how sore that is and things. And, man, he's flying right now, though.
There's Logan right there in the 4 car with Schaefer breathing down his neck. Logan holds on to the final transfer spot. Tim Schaefer running upstairs. Looks like Logan struggling to get a drive off of turn 2, and that really helped out Tim Schaefer in the yellow number 11. Ricky Logan out of Little Rock, Arkansas. The Lucas Oil Company back number 4.
These big old racetracks, it's such a momentum. It's like getting a rock on the end of a rope or something. You get it swinging, the guy's running around the top. Sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to hit you there. But running around the top like that, if a guy in the middle or on the bottom has to check up or get out of the throttle or blows the tires loose off the corner, it just kills the speed, and the guy around the top's got that momentum and can gain a lot of track position.
Pittman, Wood, Blaney, Logan, your top 4. Schaefer, Hannigan, Laney, Burkle, Bennett, and Lynch round out the field. Here's your battle for second. That's Danny Wood in that 21W, the Pepsi car. And Dale Blaney in the Mopar-powered Amoco machine, number 93. Following him the same line, both cars running up top.
Yeah, I might have said Wood was leading this thing. Pittman's just checked out. He's about half straightaway ahead.
Checkered flag falls for Darren Pittman. Look at the gap back to Wood and Blaney. Unbelievably strong is Darren Pittman. Schaefer is going to end up taking 4th. And Logan, who did a great job fighting all the way through, is going to lose it at the very end, and he's going to have to go to the B instead of getting that straight transfer. So Pittman, Wood, and Blaney will get transfers to the channel lock dashes and then on to the A. Schaefer is going to go to the A courtesy of his time from qualifying. So you take a look at the results from heat number 3. There you see Darren Pittman. Now we'll go to dash number 2. Position 7, Danny Wood, according to our Napa rundown here, will be in dash number 1, position 3. Dale Blaney, dash number 1, position 7. And then Tim Schaefer will go in by time.
And of course, the results of those dashes will set the first few rows of the A feature.
And Ricky Logan should be going to the B main. All right, so we got another dash done. Darren Pittman, Kenny Woodruff will be very pleased with that one, as they look real strong going on to the A tonight.
You think you're harder on your engine than most people? Well, good. Because there's a new motor oil made to take it. Introducing new Pennzoil Synthetic with Penzane. Penzane was developed for the space program and is used by NASA. Don't change your driving, just change your oil. Pennzoil Synthetic. It's rocket science for your car.
The same passion and dedication that drive our racing programs also drive the way we create parts for high-performance vehicles. And high-performing vehicles like yours. Mopar, great parts for great vehicles on the track and in your driveway. That's the Mopar difference.
My credit was downright bad.
Most companies wouldn't even talk to me about a credit card.
No one would give me a credit card unless I already had one.
Ever tried renting a car without a credit card? Now that's humiliating.
I'm thinking these mistakes are gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. Providian was the only company willing to take a chance on me.
Such a relief to finally have a credit card. And the fees are easy to handle.
All I did was apply over the phone, and there it was. My card with my name on it, mailed right to me.
After making a few payments, I got even more credit. And let me tell you how great it feels to put my card down on the counter and say, I'll take it.
My friends couldn't believe I got a $1,000 credit limit. They're all, what's that phone number? Hey, I deserve this credit.
The Visa Classic Card from Providian. Apply right now over the phone and get up to $1,000 in credit. And you can earn even more credit after just a few payments. It's never been easier to get the credit you deserve. So call for your Visa Classic Card now.
And now watch this. They thought the first banner going was pretty easy, so these guys just kind of casually take the second banner down, thinking we're not watching. Oh, yeah, we got it all on tape.
But we should be flattered. They're not attacking any other banners. And there's a lot of pretty ones along the fence here. Pennzoil,
and there's the sneak, and he tried to be real crazy about it, but guess where that banner is? Right there in the black with the blue bag.
We know where you live.
That's right, but not all the banners are stolen. The Freightliner one's still hanging up. Those guys, yeah, they're thinking about it, though.
Oh, they're camped on it.
Oh, yeah, they're planning.
I think the fence is holding them up.
Great banner stealing tips right here live on TNN Sports. Bobby?
Here's a guy who had a banner third heat race, and that is Darren Pittman. Forgive me for that. Congratulations, Darren. Nice job.
Thanks. I tell you what, the number 3 J&J car's been running real good. So learned a little bit in that first feature. We didn't go too good, so made a few changes, and I think we're rolling around there pretty nice now.
How's the racetrack?
Racetrack's real good. It's got a good cushion all the way around it. Down here in 3 and 4, it's about 4 or 5 inches tall, so you can kind of trip up on it real easy, and you got to be pretty careful. You get up over it, it could get ugly. But racetrack's real good. Obviously, a lot of racing.
Dave? Well, we're with Dale Blaney. He's happy to be in that second dash. Things have been going well for you lately. You got to be pleased.
Yeah, just at this point I can get a better start and get out in the lead in that heat race. Felt like I let my guys down there a little bit, but we'll work on a little bit here and see if we get things up front in the dash.
How's the racetrack at this point?
Just kind of one lane up on the top right now. Weather changes a bunch, I don't really know. There's a lot more racing yet to go, but it's just too fast on the top to get on the bottom right now.
But you're happy to be in the dash. Now, come on, smile and tell me you're happy to be in the dash.
Well, I'm in the wrong dash. I mean, we needed to win that heat race to get in the main dash to start in the top 8, but yeah, I mean, at least we don't have to run a B main and we know we're in, but we need to make some more adjustments.
Ralph, back to you.
All right, we got dash number 4 going on now. Here's your lineup for heat number 4. Dashes and heats. I'm happy to be in this heat. Brad First, Stevie Smith in row 1. Daniel Lasowski and Craig Delansky in row 2. Randy Kinzer and Shane Stewart in row 3. Billy Wilburn from Rusty Wallace's team and Tim Engler in row 4. Jared Fox and Paul McMahon in row 5.
Paul McMahon could be a real comer from the back there.
Sure could.
Yeah, the current point leader in the Gum Out Series.
Well, all these drivers have different styles behind the wheel. Paul McMahon shared us his style as he's behind the wheel of the U2.
I'm very aggressive. I take chances I probably shouldn't sometimes, but I'm young, so I haven't learned to be patient. I'm learning as I go. I mean, every day I drive a race car, I learn something new every day, and I'm just a very aggressive, hard charger. I give my 110% for 30 laps, and however I do, I'm happy at the end of the night.
There is Paul behind the wheel of the U2.
Starting in the final row. He'll need to be aggressive. Very few laps to get up there and get that transfer.
Brad Furr and Stevie Smith. Brad Furr on the inside of row 1 in the red number 2. Delansky and Lasowski make up row number 2. Coming to the green. A little wild there in row 3. Stevie Smith up top. Takes the lead. Lasowski gets a bad drive out of turn number 2, and he slips back to 4th.
Brad Furr slid way up there. Had to wait to pick the, well, I guess that was Delansky slid up there coming out of turn 4. Had to wait to get that right rear up on that cushion to get a good forward bite.
Delansky runs in 2nd. Furr runs in 3rd. Lasowski starting to dig back from 4th. There's your leader, Stevie Smith. And remember the problems he had with that car, and he wasn't sure what he was going to get with this thing.
Yeah, boy, it's looking great right now. It's going forward, and there's Lasowski and Brad Furr.
That's a fight for 3rd right now. There's Paul McMahon, who is up to 6th in that U2 car. And he is chasing down.
Well, that's Shane Stewart,
yep,
number
Shane
9.
Stewart's number 9.
You know, I don't want to, as late as this night has been already, but Paul McMahon sure could use a yellow to oh, and he jumps the cushion about, hits the wall.
He didn't want to be the yellow, though.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Lasowski now back to McMahon. Still sits in 6th.
Paul's car, he's not looking comfortable right now. It's looking like it's too tight to run the cushion. It doesn't want to slip around that cushion, but maybe he's a little bit too loose and spinning too much coming off on the bottom if he tries to run down there.
Are we seeing a better spot somewhere on this racetrack, Brad? Looks like most of the top runners are running up top.
Again, it's that momentum thing. It's just so fast right now that they're just up there leaning that right rear on that little bit of a cushion.
Lasowski, who you see right there in that 83 car, is really having a bad night. He struggled he got caught out with the fuel deal earlier on in the first A deal, and now he's gonna get a transfer here, guys, but he's not gonna go to one of the dashes. He'll transfer in on his time, and that could really make things difficult for him.
So yeah, he'll have to start behind those 8 cars that, you know, in the dashes, and as tough as these guys are, it's hard to make up any ground in the back of the main event.
Bobby, what do you have for us on Paul McMahon's U2?
Well, they did motor change, let's remember, so I'm speculating right now that they didn't have a lot of time to work on the chassis setup because they were thrashing on the motor trying to get him back out here for this heat race.
White flag is out. He's only going to have to hustle around one more time. There's your leader, Stevie Smith, as he's about to pass Tim Engler. Won't get it done. He gets the win. 2nd place will go to Delansky and Furr, and then Lasowski will come across the line in 4th. So Danny will be frustrated because now he'll go straight to that A, but he's going to get in on the A according to his qualifying time, which will start him deeper in that A field. Here's a look at the results. Stevie Smith will go to dash 2, slot 8. Craig Delansky will be in dash 1. He'll be 4th. Brad Furr will be in dash 1. He'll be 8th. And Shane Stewart and the rest will go to the B main. And there you see Lasowski going in on his time. All right, we got a B feature and 2 channel lock dashes and an A still to go. Stay with us. We're all live from Terre Haute.
Can you recommend a good air filter?
Can I recommend a good air filter? Can a duck waddle?
Fram, the only air filter with triad fiber technology. Tiny orange fibers that hold dirt inside their microscopic channels. Up to 48% more dirt than any leading competitor. Take it, use it, live it.
Thank you. Don't thank me. Thank Fram.
Fram filters. Pay a little more now or pay a lot later.
You're sweating like crazy. You got TV cameras all over you. The last thing you want is this white clumpy thing running down your arm. It's just rude.
We asked some of the hottest pros under the sun to switch antiperspirants.
Green visible solid? What's that? I would assume it goes on clear, but I'm not sure I believe that.
When your body heats up, Degree Invisible Solid releases extra protection with a clear difference.
Right there. See, there's no white stuff. The harder I work, the harder it works. No flaking, no funk, no Klingons.
Degree Invisible Solid works hard but never shows.
After the match, there's a ton of girls. Gotta be cool.
It's Bill Engvall in the TNN Sofa Cinema in New Orleans.
Hey, this is my kind of place.
The movie is Poker Alice.
I'm a poker player. Starring Elizabeth Taylor and Tom Skerritt and my pal George Hamilton.
Poker Alice, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on the TNN Sofa Cinema.
The most radical, no-holds-barred fighting event ever comes to America. The Pride Fighting Championships 2000. The world's toughest of the tough prove who's number one. The long-awaited return of Ken Shamrock. Plus, see Mark Coleman, Mark Kerr, Brazilian legend Royce Gracie, the Russian machine Igor Vovchanchyn, plus Japanese sensation Sakuraba and Fujita from the massive Tokyo Dome. The biggest fighting event ever on direct ticket pay-per-view. Coming Saturday, May 13th.
Hello, I'm Daphne Brogdon.
And I'm Gary Valentine.
We're your hosts on an exciting new show for movie lovers, Movie Showcase on DirecTV.
Each week, we'll show you the hottest new movies and original series on premium movie services, HBO, Starz, and Showtime.
And check out the newest releases on direct ticket pay-per-view.
Plus, movie trivia and more. There's a new show starting every Monday on Channel 100 and 500.
So join us on Movie Showcase on DirecTV.
We're back to the action track for more of the Wing Thunder Show. Kenzo World of Outlaws have made their way to Terre Haute, Indiana for the first time in the year 2000. Let's check in downstairs with Bobby Gerald with our, Dave Argerbright, I should say, with our Dash winner, or Heat winner.
I should say it's Dave Argerbright. I'm here with Stevie Smith. You had a rough start to the night. You feel better now?
A little bit. You know, we got things bent up, but we're trying to get them straightened out. It's just a bad way to start the night off, but we're back in the dash here, so we're gonna start over.
Do you have a lot of changes to make right now?
Well, yeah, we've been working on the car, not watching the racetrack, so we're gonna start making some changes to hopefully get better.
How far away are you?
Well, I don't feel like I'm ready to win the feature, if that's what you're asking. I got to get a lot better.
Well, I'm always expecting you to say you're ready to win the feature, but how much has the track changed from earlier tonight? We've raced on it an awful lot.
It's getting really slick. The cushion's really steep and hard, and it's quite a bit different, but it's a Terre Haute. They did the best job they could, you know, with all the rain last night, so it's an even track for everyone.
Well, even after bending the car earlier tonight, he's fast, and it managed a little smile for us. Ralph?
So Stevie Smith getting ready. Here's our Outlaws Wild Ride of the Week, which took place in Kentucky this past week. Dale Blaney up and over, and so is Tim Schaefer. Johnny Herrera involved in there as well in the black 20, and there's Dale's car.
That was, I commented that on earlier tonight, that was where he started on the front row of Kentucky Lake, and they let that win. They thought he could win it, and they got away from him.
This is a hot lap session going on now.
Okay, this is a
20.
This is a top 11? top four finishers from tonight's. The A main we had first tonight, which was actually last night's A main. These are the top 4 finishers.
Because that would have been a preliminary A feature, which would have been run on Friday night. They're already locked into the Saturday night A feature. So this will include Joey Saldana, Brian Paulus, Steve Kinzer, and of course Sammy Swindell.
It's an opportunity for these drivers to get out on the racetrack as it exists right now, to warm up the motors, to check out the track, to do a lot of things they need to do.
It's their first opportunity since they've qualified.
Normally, they would not have been on it all night long.
Right.
Correct.
Except for that.
Whoa, Sammy stands her up and does a great bit of driving to bring it back down and keep it out of the wall.
And what he found out is, I don't want to go back there again.
Right, well, exactly.
You heard Stevie Smith say the cushion's really hard and a big berm. It's a lot of clods of mud up there, and yeah, you don't want to be running over that.
Let's go to Bobby Gerald.
Let's find out firsthand about this racetrack. It's a pretty big shelf over there in 3 and 4, Danny.
Yeah, there really is right now. The fastway is up around the rim, and it's beginning to become a wall, not a shelf. If you hit it just wrong, just a little bit, it throws your car around. And maybe they'll run it down. Maybe there'll be a wide enough race, and maybe we can come from the back and see if we can win this thing.
You may have to come from the back. We saw in the heat race there, you ended up finishing 4th, and I know you probably weren't real satisfied with that.
No, we're not. I'll tell you what, we missed it a little bit, but if they get this thing wide out, I think you're going to see side-by-side racing. It'll make it a lot better for coming from the back.
We saw some good stuff earlier between the Canes and the Chessons. Danny Lasowski getting prepared for future action.
Danny go right back in the trailer and get back to work.
Tony Stewart in there to help.
That's right. That's right. Well, we want to say hello to George and Connie Bayless. George, one of the World of Outlaw officials who's normally on the tour with us. Wife Connie a little under the weather. Connie, hope to see you getting better soon. All of us here at the Penzo World of Outlaws. Hoping you two are doing all right. See you back at the track, George, real soon. All right, we're going to take another break so we can show you more green flag racing here real soon. Stay with us. TNN Motorsports stays live and rolls on with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws.
This commercial is rated X. X for extreme protection. New Extreme Cleaner Wax from Turtle Wax. Stands up to everything nature throws at it. X for extreme cleaning. Turtle Wax Extreme Cleaner Wax with a breakthrough Trilicone formula cleans away swirl marks and grime. X for extreme shine. It gives you a deep, long-lasting shine, especially on clear coat. Extreme protection, extreme cleaning, extreme shine. New Extreme Cleaner Wax from Turtle Wax.
This is John Force, 9-time World Funny Car Champion. This is the Fram air filter with new Triad fiber technology. John Force knows a thing or two about dirt. The Fram Triad air filter traps up to 48% more dirt. So, what happens when you put the two of them together? Presto changeo. The new Fram Triad air filter. Pay a little more now or pay a lot later.
Painting the house, boys. Need one of you to help.
Have you?
I'll tell you what, Kev. How about you help Dad paint the house this time? And I'll paint it every time after.
Really? All right, dude.
Behr Premium Plus comes with a lifetime guarantee. So once you're done painting, you're done painting.
Sucker.
Behr Premium Plus. Buy it at the Home Depot.
Still got athlete's foot? Wincing from the itching? Yearning to stop the burning?
Don't take it anymore.
Cure it to the max. New Desenex Max. It's got a powerful new ingredient others don't have, so it takes fewer applications to cure your athlete's foot. In fact, one tube of Desenex Max has more curing power than 3 of these guys. Or these guys.
Athlete's foot, don't take it anymore.
Cure it to the max. New Desenex Max.
Oh, now the Channel Lock guys are losing banners. And the Pennzoil guys, boy, I'm telling you.
Ours went first, though, and we're proud of it.
That's right. Well, we got track owner Jerry Olson up here with us. You can see all the banners. I want you to know, you owe us a couple of banners, by the way, Jerry.
And an announce booth would be nice.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, guys, we had a chance earlier today to spend some time talking with Paul Lawrenson, who is the operations manager of the Sprint Car Division for Goodyear. And all these Goodyear tires are being made down in Chile now. And Brad, we talked, one of the biggest differences, not so much where they're being made, because Paul explained to us how the equipment that they're using down there in Chile is better than some of the stuff they have here in the States. But really, it's building this large of a bias ply tire as opposed to a smaller radial tire. Why is that so different?
Well, it's because of its size. It's just so big and so bulky. So if the tolerances or the variances are just 10%, you take a 105 to 106 inch round tire. Well, that can change the size of it or the stagger quite a bit. And they said the reason for the move down there was either up the price of the tires or build them down there where they could keep the price down to where they have been for almost 10 years. And again, you know, we're talking to Paul. We talked about if anybody's ever seen a dragster take off from the line, how the tire grows in size. Well, that's what these bias ply floppy sidewall sprint car tires do. It's literally like changing gears down the straightaways. That tire grows so big, it takes a little bit of the gear away, goes to a higher gear, and takes the RPM away from the engine. So just like a drag car, they start out small, they're on the throttle, and as it grows, it helps them go down the straightaway and get some mile per hour.
Especially at a racetrack here, like here at Terre Haute, with the long straightaway,
Exactly.
you can really see that as the cars accelerate down the straightaway.
Yeah, the little quarter miles and those things, it's not that critical. But yeah, on these long straightaways, it is. And earlier I talked about running the bottom to the top and the different gear ratios. Well, again, you just need that to get the car down to the other end without over twisting the engine.
Now, just before we went to break, we watched Sammy Swindell go hopping through the dirt. Watch the channel lock number 1 as he gets up high down in the corner. Look at the great car control.
And boy,
that is impressive, and that is why Sammy Swindell is considered one of the all-time best behind the wheel. Dave?
Well, Sammy, the guys in the booth are telling me that, you know, great car control, very thrilling hot lap session. You told me a second ago, no big deal.
Yeah, well, there was just a spot out there that needed to be graded, so I kind of ran over it.
track crew too, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do a little bit of everything, but channel lock cars, was up to it. We just ran over it, popped a little wheel, it kept on going.
Now, you said earlier, a second ago, you're not going to change very much on your setup. You're still sticking with that?
Well, pretty much track's not that much difference. The car was pretty good. We just we're in a little bit of a problem on the restarts against the other tire company. But if we can get 4 or 5 laps in, we're as quick as anybody. But it's just the starts are killing us.
Bobby Gerald?
Jeff Shepard sits waiting for his next racing action in one of the dashes. And Jeff, last year, a lot of feature wins. This year, a little bit of a struggle. How are you feeling tonight?
I feel pretty good, Bobby. We had some help from Chuck Merrill at Maxim. He got our car straightened out a little bit for us earlier tonight. We did pretty decent that first feature, and I think we'll be all right tonight. It's got a little bit more adjustment to do on the race car for the slick conditions. I think we'll be just fine.
How much has the Gum Out series helped your confidence now, and you're running second in that series?
Well, I think that deal's a good deal for us because we're kind of a low on our help team, and with that deal, I think it's going to get us boosted up to come in and out with the World of Outlaws with the Pennzoil guys. And now that I got my car going better and I feel like I can race, I feel like that goal's going to be a lot easier to reach.
And I think that's going to be one of the biggest factors all season long, Ralph and Brad, on that Gum Out series.
Absolutely, Bobby. And we saw the crews working out here, Brad. What are they doing with the shovels?
They're trying. That's that cushion that we talked about that they run. If you've ever parallel parked your car and you've backed it into the curb and you felt that bump, well, imagine doing that at about 130 miles an hour. And that's what these guys try to do, to lean that right rear tire on there and just bump off of it and bounce off of it to get side bite. But unfortunately, it's so big and so high right now and so solid that they can't bust through it. So it's actually trying to trip the car and get up over it.
So the crew's working on the track. We've seen a lot lately about guys coming up with chassis designs that allow people to go for rides. Look at this guy mounting passengers outboard on the sprint car. I don't mind strapping him behind Hewitt and letting him take me for a ride, the one where you sit behind the driver, but I'm not so sure I want to be a pontoon on the outside of a sprint car. Dave Argerbright?
Well, they've been thrashing around, but it looks like they've got everything under control now on Andy Hillenberg's car. All set with the engine change. You're ready to go racing?
Yeah, I think so. We just we ran it out of fuel there in that first A main and right there on the red, and we got it hot, and it either pinched a gasket or burned a piston. So it's just one of those things. It wasn't the engine builder's fault, It's just that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Well, at least they're ready to race. They've got the thrash behind them. Ralph?
Well, Dave, the Freightliner banners are a goner. By the way, Hewitt, if you're watching, I'd love to strap in behind you and go for a ride. Know what it's like to do it with Hewitt. That'd be cool, wouldn't it, Doty?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, you've chased Hewitt around. I just want to go for a ride with him. We'll be back. Stay with us, Hewitt.
They say George got himself a new ride. Strong, runs good, turns on a dime. Got George so shook up, he's talking about getting out team roping.
Say, what kind of horse is this anyway?
It's a cutting horse.
New Husky lawn tractors from Tractor Supply. With up to 22 horsepower and a 46-inch deck, they've even got George straight out cutting.
It's true, but only on a Husky. Ready to ride now at Tractor Supply Company.
Give me 4 Fram Shore Grip oil filters.
Excellent choice. Why 4? Year supply. No air filter?
Huh?
Hello? Check it with every oil change. Yours probably looks like this. Here, the Fram air filter with triad fiber technology. Holds up to 48% more dirt than any leading competitor.
Thanks. Slacker.
Fram filters. Pay a little more now or pay a lot later.
You can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
I can actually ask girls out that are my own age now and not have people look at me funny like I'm some old man asking this young girl out. It's incredible. Hair Club for Men has changed my life.
It's quick, it's easy, it's painless, there's no surgery. What I love about it is I can do whatever I want every day. I can go swimming, I can play sports. You won't believe it until you try it yourself.
You can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
I went to the Hair Club for Men. They did a wonderful job on my hair. I love it. I would recommend this to anybody.
I couldn't believe
before that he had no hair. I mean, he still looked good, but after, it was amazing. He was like a totally new guy. I couldn't believe it. And he's very active, and you can't tell the difference with his hair. It's amazing.
And just for visiting us, you'll get this free kit, specially formulated for thinning hair. So call 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
ECW Wrestling in the Thrill Zone on TNN. Trouble erupts in ECW's Ultimate Team, the Impact Players.
One at each other.
ECW Wrestling, Friday at 8 Eastern on TNN.
This I call the Young Family Special. It's reliable, it's practical, but with a little edge. This car says family.
There's only one seat.
Keeps the family close.
NHRA Winston Track Racing on TNN. Welcome back to TNN's coverage of the Wing Thunder for the Terre Haute Action Track in Terre Haute, Indiana. We're about 70 miles west of Indianapolis. Dale Blaney out on the racetrack down at Amoco 93. He has a pretty famous brother whose name is Dave, who's a World of Outlaw champion, now drives the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, and Dale talked about their relationship.
Dave's always had high expectations for me. Grew up with basketball. Yelled at me for 32 minutes a game in high school. Just yelled at me, you know, figuring I can do better. But he pushed me. And if it wouldn't have been for him growing up, I don't think I could ever play college basketball and got to play a little bit of professional basketball. So I know he pushed me. Looking back on it, it was an advantage to have him. At that time, I didn't think it was, but it was a good deal.
Dave Blaney actually owns that car too. Here is your lineup for our first channel lock dash. Tyler Walker in the V12 entry will be on the inside of row number 1. Alongside of him is Casey Kane's 23K. Next up on the inside of row number 2, it's Danny Wood in the 21W. On the outside of that row, Craig Delansky's number 7, the Maxim with the Fisher engine. Craig Delansky's up next with the Maxim and the Fisher engine on the outside of that row. Next up is the 4J of Jeff Shepard, a Maxim with a Kreiner engine. Next up on the outside of that row, Dean Jacobs in the 18, Dave Argabright.
Well, Ralph, a moment ago we heard Dale and Dave Blaney talk about being brothers. Dean Jacobs is also the younger brother of Kenny Jacobs. He's ran in his shadow for a lot of seasons now, but the last couple of years has really come on. He's very excited. He's got a good night of racing going, Ralph.
Dale Blaney will bring that Amoco 93 up next. One of the only Mopars in the field, along with Mark Kinzer tonight. And rounding out the field is Brad First, 2F. Out of California, out of Pleasanton. Bobby?
That's right, 23 years old. Third quick at the Pennzoil World of Outlaws opener at Hanford. A second quick the following night at Paris. What Brad Furr is working on right now is getting that speed put into racing configuration, not just one car out there on the track. Brad Doty, how hard is that to do?
Well, it can be very difficult. You know, they get into it, but that's experience, Bobby. He just has to. It's going to take him some laps and to get experience racing with these guys.
You saw San Mina as his sponsor. It's a very high-tech internet electronics company, but it sounds like a place you'd like to go on vacation. I'm going to spend a couple of weeks in San Mina.
We're going to need one after this show. Yeah.
I like Dale Blaney's cut when he said it was a good deal. Dave chewing on him all this. He wasn't quite sure, I don't think.
Casey Kane and Tyler Walker making the front row. This will be good as we go green.
This is one for MTV.
And give the spot to Walker as Kane slips back and Danny Wood comes up on the inside in the Pepsi 21.
Well, Wood tried to put that slider on him in 1 and 2, and boy, Casey battled around on the outside, but Wood got it done down in turns 3 and 4.
Casey drops back to 3rd.
Well, he just took that second back again, down in turn 2.
Didn't take long, did it, as Danny Wood bounces around trying to get the 21W to go straight. He comes right up the inside and takes second right back.
Seen a lot of racing with Casey Kane tonight. No matter who he's with, he seems like a lot of passing going on.
And Delansky's going to join him in the red 7, and he stands it up on the rear wheels as he takes the spot and then loses 2. And Jeff Shepard comes up on the 4J on the bottom of the white car.
Yeah, Craig Delansky jumped the cushion, got up into that heavy stuff, was on the throttle, and he just picked the front wheels off the ground.
Tyler Walker, Danny Wood, Casey Kane, Jeff Shepard, Craig Delansky is how they show it on the computer scoring monitor right now. First of 2 channel lock dashes for you tonight. You're watching all this action live from Terre Haute, Indiana with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws as Jeff Shepard's 4J comes up the inside to take it away from Casey Kane. Had to move him up to 3rd.
Heard him say in his interview prior to this that he felt good with his race car and they're getting dialed in. And boy, this is fast as he's been for a while with the World of Outlaws.
And the better you finish in these dashes, the better you start in the 8th feature. And that can make the difference and a lot of money, a lot of points.
Dale Blaney now in the 93, the Amoco car, trying to make some moves, pick up a spot or 2. He battles with Delansky. Just in front of him is Craig.
Oh, there goes
Delansky around the inside of Casey Kane. He'll take that spot back, puts him into 4th. And here comes Blaney now. He's caught that fight. The Mopar power coming to work here for Dale Blaney. He's right on the backside of Casey Kane. Now to the bottom. Can he get the spot away? Takes him. Coming off of 4.
Yeah, Casey Kane's the 23. His car's looking like it's getting looser and looser the longer they run.
You'd have sworn the Amoco car had rear view mirrors on it there. That was just a perfect piece of unintentional blocking.
Checkered flag falls for Tyler Walker. He's your winner. Here comes Danny Wood, who had a strong run, but look how far Walker had gotten away from the field. Shepard finishes in 3rd. Delansky is 4th, and Dale Blaney comes home in 5th. Boy, Tyler Walker has been very, very impressive in that Forbrook Vassar V12.
And I think there's some reasons for that. He's not driving his own equipment or his father's equipment. He has no worries about that. He flies in, gets the job done, and is having a wonderful time doing it.
So you're saying the old racing saying, run it like you don't own it, is pretty much coming to fruition here tonight, huh?
The proof is in Tyler Walker.
There is a look at those results and where they will line up now for the A main. Tyler will be 9th, Danny Wood is 10th, 11th, 12th, and so forth on down through the field.
These go behind the 8 cars out of this other dash. They'll line up behind them.
All right, so Channel Lock Dash 1 is down. Channel Lock Dash 2, you're going to see live right here on TNN Sports in just a minute. Stay with us.
You think you're harder on your engine than most people? Well, good. Because there's a new motor oil made to take it. Introducing new Pennzoil Synthetic with Penzane. Penzane was developed for the space program and is used by NASA. Don't change your driving, just change your oil. Pennzoil Synthetic. It's rocket science for your car.
If you're not a fisherman, you might think that Jim's a little crazy, that he's gone overboard. But fishermen understand. It's not just a pastime. It's a way of life. Like the tide, it controls everything they do. It's who they are and who they're with. And it's not just enough to say they love fishing. They're driven by it. eAngler.com understands. It features a world-class pro shop, guide services, travel, a complete newsstand, expert advice, and online licensing. It's the ultimate website dedicated to everyone who'd rather be fishing. Plus, call or log on to eAngler.com to enter the I Landed the Big One sweepstakes to win 4 exotic fishing trips around the world, a Ranger bass boat, and $65,000 in cash. So call or log on now and
catch it on eAngler.com.
It's a race for money and glory, where second place is the first loser. In this race, it's either checkers or wreckers. It's NASCAR's all-star race, the Winston, $1 million winners-only race. See it live May 20th at 7:30 Eastern, a part of TNN's winner-take-all weekend.
It's Bill Engvall in the TNN Sofa Cinema in New Orleans.
I'm a poker player.
Poker Alice, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on the TNN Sofa Cinema.
See you Tuesday.
The cars for Channel Lock Dash number 2 are getting pushed off as we get set for that race. Coming up next Sunday on TNN's Winter Tank All Weekend, the ASA AC Delco Series goes to the famed 5/8 mile track at Nashville Speedway, USA. Over the years, this race has always supplied us with lots of action. Check out the BF Goodrich 300 next Sunday at 3 Eastern and Pacific. TNN's Winter Tank All Weekend. That's where the ASA Series began its career on TNN, live from Nashville. Let's go to Dave Argabright.
Well, standing here with Tyler Walker, you made it look easy on that one. The car must be incredibly good. Is that right?
Yeah, Guy Forbrook doing a great job, and Justin and Rich and Rod, everybody here. I'm just filling in for Greg, and I hope he heals real fast. And we were a little disappointed earlier tonight in that feature because we were really good, and we had a spindle break on us, and it was just one thing after another. But we're planning on doing real good in this feature. I think we start night now, so I mean, guys got a heck of a motor in this thing. It just runs and runs and runs. And
yeah, I have to interrupt you and ask you, how long did it take you to get comfortable working with the guy? This is your first time together with him.
It took us about 2 or 3 races, and then I think we've been, you know, a top 5 car ever since. So we just keep working together and listening to each other. And I think the next few races that I run for him hopefully will be top 3 finishes.
Now, I'm going to get you in trouble with this one, but isn't this more exciting running one of those big old slow stock cars? Come on.
I don't try to compare them. They're just two different beasts, you know. This thing here is a real quick, you know, on the ball. You got to go, 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 go. Where, you know, you got to think a little bit more in a stock car and, you know, feel that right rear and save the brakes. And whereas, you know, that it's just a whole different.
He's stumbling around. He won't let me get in trouble. Ralph, what do you think? The kid's learned to defend himself, hadn't he?
I think it's time to go to Channel Lock Dash number 2, so let's show you that starting lineup. Here we go. There's our lineup on the inside, starting on the pole position, the driver of the Quaker State number 11. It's a Maxim with a Kinzer in it. There's Steve Kinzer. On the outside of row number 2, the Channel Lock number 1, Sammy Swindell. Inside of row number 3, Joey Saldana. And on the outside of that row, a young man who's been running very strong all night long, Brian Paulus. Dave?
Brian is another driver that sort of defies description, Ralph. He also this year has been running a lot of non-wing races, and as far as I know is the only driver to be running all of the World of Outlaw races that he can possibly make in the USAC Silver Crown race, which, again, very different type of race cars, very different. Ralph?
Next up on the inside, Mark Kinzer, the reigning Pennzoil World of Outlaw champion in the 5M. PJ Chesson, this young man has impressed all of us tonight, doing so well in his heat race. Let's see what he can do in the dash with an even stronger field to contend with. Up next, Darren Pittman, who is doing wonderful things with his crew chief, Kenny Woodruff. The two of them really coming on strong, Bobby Gerald.
A heat race win earlier. He's just 21 years old, qualified for 67 of the 69 A mains the Outlaws ran last year. So this is a guy to watch.
And rounding out the field, Stevie Smith, who got off to a struggle earlier tonight, but has really come on strong here lately, doing so well in his heat races, getting himself into the Channel Lock Dash. Well, Magnolia, Mississippi earlier this year, Stevie picked up his first win where he got congratulations from his family. Then went on to Houston, Texas and did it again. Ingersoll Rand 19 has started to come on real strong the last few races, and then yesterday in the Channel Lock Dash, the second one of last night's racing action, Stevie found checkered flags falling his way once again as he picked up the victory. He'll try it again here tonight in Channel Lock Dash number 2. We got some onboard cameras that'll be in this one. Here's a view from Sammy Swindell, just over the right front tire, looking up over the nose wing. Steve Kinzer will have one too. His set back just a little bit farther. Joey Saldana carrying one as well.
Well, this is going to be a real gunfight, isn't it? You almost wish it was about 20 laps. Of course, the A feature to come after the B main will be 30 laps with all your favorites.
I believe that was Brian Paulus, that last in-car camera we had with the Love Verdelli Farms. That's one of his sponsors on the nose wing there. Starting in the second row. Calm before the storm here, just idling around.
How poetic. Steve Kinser and Sammy Swindell side by side, just the two of them.
Boy, look at how they're spreading so far out wide. Look at that as we go green.
And the reason for that, Ralph, is the middle is black and slick. Steve in the inside row was down on that, trying to stay down on the moisture and get a good bite off the corner.
Oh, it worked. He's holding on in second now as Sammy pulls off the lead, and then automatically Steve gets up top two.
Well, again, Sammy complained about the difference between the Goodyear and the Hoosier, that the Hoosier would take off on the start quicker. It took the Goodyear a couple laps to really get going, but Sammy, in both earlier races, got good starts. Again, he's doing it now, but let's see if we can just hang on to it. So,
pulling away from Steve Kinser is Sammy Swindell. Saldana is up to third, and Paulus runs in fourth. Now, Saldana's on the bottom. He's that white car right there, the 17. Oh, look at this battle as P.J. Chesson goes high, Stevie Smith goes low. Stevie will take the spot away. P.J., that'll move Stevie up a few spots, put him in about sixth.
Goodyear does have some new tires here that they're running the last couple of races, just different out of a different mold and things. But they do have that truckload we talked about earlier that they're going to test tonight. It's going to be a late test when this one's over.
It's going to be a very late night for Sammy Swindell and some of the other Goodyear drivers. Is not until we're done will they get a chance to go out there and start tire testing. Sammy Swindell leading this one. 4 laps to go, on board with Brian Paulus.
Now you see that the glare that you see, that's also in the driver's eyes, and when they get the tear-offs on looking through their shield, that's exactly what it looks like for them. Sometimes there's a lot of glare and a lot of smear on the shield, and they can't see that well.
Brian's trying to catch Mark Kinser, who's in front of him. Brian runs in 5th right now, just 2 laps to go. Sammy Swindell, Steve Kinser, Joey Saldana, Mark Kinser, Brian Paulus, your top 5. Boy, Sammy is looking hooked up. That's the view Steve Kinser has, and he has not been able to close in at all, Steve.
No, it's not a view he is enjoying either. You talk about sticking around here late into the early hours to tire test. When you run with the Outlaws, AM and PM lose all significance. Truly.
And don't forget, they got to be in Lernerville, Pennsylvania, Tuesday. So late night tonight, get the car prepared and on your way as Sammy takes a checkered flag for a long drive to Pennsylvania.
Well, actually, on Monday, Channel Lock's having to get together. Right. A lot of the top teams have to be there Monday morning, so they've got a lot of cleanup and maintenance to do tomorrow before that deal on Monday.
It's a glamorous lifestyle, to be sure.
Yep, so while you're sitting around enjoying your Mother's Day, remember Amy Swindell will be on the road with hubby Sammy between Terre Haute and Pennsylvania.
Probably sweeping out the trailer and helping the crew get ready.
At least they're together.
That's right. So the checkered flag is fallen. There is the results and how they will line up in our main event tonight, our A feature, just as they finished. Making up the spots for the top 8. Well, we've got a rather large B feature yet to go. And then, of course, our A feature coming up after that, the second one of the night.
Well, you said when we opened the show that we had a jam-packed night, a lot of racing. Boy, we sure have.
Well, the one thing we like to do here at TNN Sports is bring you all the Pennzoil World of Outlaw action we possibly can. And, you know, I know our producers, track promoters don't want to hear this, but when we were finding out that we were going to show that, I know the 3 of us, oh yeah, we like that idea. Stay with us to be the A coming up.
Mopar. Great parts for these vehicles and yours. That's the Mopar difference.
They're not
coming out. We're going in to get them. You're always hot. You're always sweating. It's a cat and mouse game.
We have some of the hottest detectives on the street to switch antiperspirant.
Degree Ultra Dry.
Body heat activated.
Does this work?
When your body heat rises, Degree's powerful Ultra Dry form releases extra protection when you need it most.
When the pressure is on, the heat is on, Degree kept up with me. It kept me dry. Degree kicks butt.
Degree Ultra Dry.
That stuff kicks in and takes care of business.
Your body heat turns it on.
Book 'em.
This week, how rough are the waters in Winston Cup? We'll look at a few struggling teams who have the answer on the next Inside NASCAR, Saturday at 4 and Sunday morning at 10 on TNN Sports.
If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're going to love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You got to eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism, so you end up burning more calories.
Strength training these days isn't just for men. It's great for women, too. And Bowflex is designed for both. It's even been called the best home gym by Fitness Magazine.
Use as little as 5 pounds to more than 400 pounds of resistance. Follow our 6-week fast fat loss program or create your own from over 60 different health club quality exercises.
Bowflex is easy to own, and it fits in any room in your house. It comes with a 6-week guarantee on results, and you can finance it with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
Welcome back to Terre Haute. Let's go right down to the pits. A lot of stuff happening with Sammy Swindell.
Well, it's not a good situation for Sammy and his channel lock racers here. He pulled in, despite the car running so well, knew something was wrong with the engine, pulled in, they immediately pulled the hood. Now they're going to do an incredibly fast engine change. This is going to be very challenging because the only race left to run now is that B main. Now that's a big B main. There could be some yellows and that may work in their favor, but they're in a tough situation because they're going to get no time to sort this thing out. They're out, as you can see, they're unplugging the electronics and moving things around. It's going to be very, very difficult for these guys to make it because once they get the engines changed, they don't have any time to troubleshoot it because you got to button it up and push it right off. So it's going to be a very difficult thing. I don't know. It's going to be a push here to see if they can make it. Brad, what do you think? Can they do it?
Yeah, they probably can. But the thing about this, while they're thrashing and working on that engine, they don't have any time to work on the chassis to try to get the car faster. So anytime you have an engine change, it takes your concentration, your focus away from making the race car fast. All they're trying to do now is repair it and get it back into the race.
Well, and you would think that that's not such a big deal because how fast he was in that race. But don't forget, there's a long B coming up. That track's going to change a lot. So he would be making some changes, wouldn't he, Steve?
Also, let's remember, Sammy Swindell not only owns and drives this car, he is essentially the crew chief. He's got people to execute this engine change. And if Sammy's worried about anything other than the motor, it's the chassis. Bobby Gerald?
We're down here with Dana Kinzer. This is Steve's wife and Craig's mom. And let me be the first to wish you 21 minutes early Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
How are you holding up here tonight with Craig out on the racetrack?
Pretty good. I'm praying a lot. That's really calmed me down. It's definitely the thing to do in cases like this. But he's doing a real good job. He's real smooth. You know, he's out here with the best in the business. So, you know, I don't have to worry about the other drivers, you know, making real radical moves on him and stuff. But he's learning, you know, pretty quickly. And you just got to, and the guys keep him pretty humble. You know, that's probably good at this point in his career.
Well, we wish him well and keep praying.
Thank you, and I will.
She will, Ralph.
Dana Kinzer having a tough night out here as a racing mom here at Terre Haute. Well, what do you guys think so far, Brad? What do you think of how the track's hung in there with all the racing we've had?
It's really holding him well. We saw the deal with the cushion where they were trying to take some of that down. Other than that, I mean, it's held up really nice. It's not too slick, and it's not abrasive where it's hurting tires.
Steve, what do you think? We're going to find any more banners before we're done?
Petty larceny is what we've seen here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen virtually everything you could see in one night. Of course, an extended night. I mean, giant wheel stands, cars upside down, anything you could ask for. Young drivers, old drivers, all doing very well. And we are going to come back with could be the most chaotic race so far of this day. That would be the B feature.
Presenting 8-time funny car champion John Forrest to test the Fram Extra Guard filter with its new short grip top.
It's easy to hold on to. See, I still got it. They ain't kidding about that rough textured grip. Couldn't drop it if I wanted to.
Oh, baby! The new Fram Extra Guard with short grip.
It sure makes changing your oil filter a lot easier.
Places I started singing in down here in South Texas got the ladies in by dropping the cover charge. Well, Tractor Supply Company's done that one better. They put in things women shop for every day. Jeans, clothing, horse and pet supplies, seed, garden tools, riding tractors, and a lot more. So ladies, don't be bashful about that word tractor, because there's a lot in those Tractor Supply Company stores for you too. Oh, and no cover charge either.
My credit was downright bad.
Most companies wouldn't even talk to me about a credit card.
No one would give me a credit card unless I already had one.
Ever tried renting a car without a credit card? Now that's humiliating.
I'm thinking these mistakes are gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. Providian was the only company willing to take a chance on me.
It's such a relief to finally have a credit card. And the fees are easy to handle.
All I did was apply over the phone, and there it was. My card with my name on it, mailed right to me.
After making a few payments, I got even more credit. And let me tell you how great it feels to put my card down on the counter and say, I'll take it.
My friends couldn't believe I got a $1,000 credit limit. They're all, what's that phone number? Hey, I deserve this credit.
The Visa Classic Card from Providian. Apply right now over the phone and get up to $1,000 in credit. And you can earn even more credit after just a few payments. It's never been easier to get the credit you deserve. So call for your Visa Classic Card now.
12-lap B main event coming up with 4 cars transferring to tonight's A main event. Jack Hodenshield and Brooke Tatnall will make up row 1. Ricky Logan and Craig Kinzer in the second row. Randy Kinzer and Andy Hillenberg in row 3. Donnie Schatz and Randy Hannigan. Shane Stewart and Blake Flees in row 5. James Chesson and Ronald Laney in the 6th row. Billy Wilburn and Jason Myers, Bob Bennett, Tim Engler, Adam Schmidt, Brian Carlson in row 9. Bob Burkle, Jared Fox in the 10th row, Kevin Atkins and Troy Leonard, Ed Lynch and Paul McMahon in row 12. And I don't remember actually Ed Lynch being here, so I don't think that's right in the 29L. Let's go downstairs.
Well, with Craig Delansky, one of the Gum Out Racing Series stars, and you're starting 12th tonight in the feature, but you're still adjusting that race car. What are you going to do now?
Oh, you know, unfortunately we qualified not real good the last couple nights here. You know, we started back in that first feature there, and we were fortunate to get up in front of that. So hopefully we can get this Polydome Maxim car up to the frontier in this second one.
You feel good about tonight?
Yeah, you know, so far, you know, the crew's doing a great job with the car, and, you know, these Hoosier tires are working real well. So, you know, we'll just be doing everything we can to get to the front. We start 12th. Hopefully we can get up in there.
Everything we can to get to the front. That sounds familiar. Bobby Gerald?
Dave Argabright, Lance Blevins, big smile on his face because I just said, where are you starting? Yeah, I start at the back. We time trialed about like a turtle's pace around there, so we got a lot of ground to make up for the feature. What's been going on, though, recently, because you guys have really been running well? We've been running really good. I think the team, the morale's been great with the team. Dave and Slim Jim are keeping a great car for me. All I'm having to do is really drive it, and they're making it really easy on me. And the Hoosier tires have been great. The Westmar motors have been great. I mean, the combo's all been working. If we get a little bit better luck, we'll win one of these. Give us some highlights. Well, I mean, you know, just there the other night we started 18th and made it up to 2nd, and then I fell back to 5th with a little bit of driver error. So I got to get a little bit better in the seat, and I think everything will turn out good. Mom, happy... didn't get it, or did I? You got it. Happy Mother's Day. We're going racing.
We're green. And everybody gets through turns 1 and 2. That was a lot of cars to sling through there at once. Down the back straightaway, things get a little dicey, too. Going back into turn number 3, Jack Hodenshield has the lead. Here's Schatz in the yellow 15 right behind Randy Hannigan's red number 8.
And for Hodenshield fans, and there's thousands of them, he can win this thing in transfer out. He'll get his qualifying time back and won't start all that badly in the A feature. And Hod, maybe more than any other driver, can really come from behind consistently.
4 cars, the top 4 cars will transfer on to the A feature tonight. There's Tim Engler in the 73.
Famous tractor puller. Remember the old days on TNT? He probably won more big money tractor pulls than any other driver in history.
There's Craig Kinzer in the 11. The white and black car that just went by underneath you there. He's currently running in 6th position.
How about that? 15 years old.
Randy Hannigan on the inside. And a yellow. Don't see the reason for the yellow just
yet. Car laying on
Brad.
the side, the 29 car that.
Oh, there he is.
Boy, that was about as easy a tip over as you can get. It looks like it just fell over, or they laid it there on the side of the.
It's like the old lap-in tricycle deal where the guy just fell over.
Kurt Trainer out of Kokomo, Indiana.
Yeah, that car is not hurt at all. It doesn't look like.
Might not even scratch the paint on the side panel.
It's amazing. You mentioned Randy Hannigan a minute ago, and he'd like to wish his grandpa Joe well, and hopes he's home from the hospital just real soon. From Randy Hannigan.
And they're going to right Kurt. And we'll get him back underway.
Now, how gentle was that?
About as soft as it tipped over.
Didn't even peel the decals off there on the side of the way.
Not at all. There is the Hurricane Randy Hannigan in the 8H out of San Jose, California. The car owned by Junior Holbrook. Sammy Swindell has been giving Randy a lot of help, and Randy told us a little bit about what Slam and Sammy's been doing for him.
Sammy's has been a tremendous help. I don't think if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd be as successful as I have been in sprint car racing on the West Coast, because he's given that much help to me. It's, you know, I'm forever indebted.
Brad, who helped you and other drivers when you were getting started? Anybody give you any good tips or advice? Or?
Yeah, I mean, Steve Kinzer probably was the first one when I first started. But then the better I started doing, the
less he told you?
The less he told me, yeah. Kind of let me on my own. But, you know, talking about Sammy's also helped Brian Paulus quite a bit, too, you know, another young driver. So Sammy's really helping these guys and sharing the wealth, as they say, letting these guys learn from his experience.
You wouldn't think much, you know, when you see Sammy in some of his interviews, seems so stoic and quiet and all that, you wouldn't think that he'd be the kind of guy that would search out a young guy to give him some advice.
I'll tell you, Sammy's just so serious about his racing. When Sammy's at the racetrack, he is 110% dedicated, serious, sometimes some would say a little grumpy, but boy, you get him away from the racetrack where he can relax, get his mind off of racing, and I mean, not that he's not a great guy anyway, but his personality is totally different from when he's at the racetrack.
Get him out there on that V8 powered Boss Haas motorcycle he is, and
look at the smile.
That'll make everybody smile, yeah. Dave Argabright, what do you have for us?
Well, you know, you were talking about Sammy helping these young guys. One interesting thing is when he helps them, typically, he doesn't just tell them the answer to something. He doesn't just come around and say, do this, do this, do this. What he does often is lead them with questions so that they can think about the answers and think through on how to get the right answer. And it's very interesting because he doesn't just teach them with facts. He teaches them how to think through the process to understand how to set these cars up and how to fix them and make them run better. It's a lot of guys are indebted to him because not just he taught them with facts, he taught them how to approach the whole process. Ralph?
Then a pop quiz after, maybe?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Well, obviously it helps you remember when you have to think it through to come up with the answer, you know.
Yeah, and it leads you on to other things because you understand the whole concept.
Sammy will always be known as probably one of the better, if not one of the best, the best driver-mechanic combinations in World of Outlaws history.
Yep. Has 3 championships to prove it.
Yep. Jack Hodenshield in the lead here with Brooke Tatnell right behind him.
Le Jacques, a multiple winner this year, got 2 A features.
Again, you saw everybody rolling around the bottom real tight there so they could get a hold of that moisture and get a good start.
Andy Hillenberg is on the bottom, and he's going to make the pass for second, but Tatnell comes right back on the outside. Brooke goes back upstairs, and let's see if Andy can get him on the bottom coming off of 4. Well, he's not past him yet, but it's a good battle nonetheless.
Brooke should get him back down the back straight as he does.
And Jack Hodenshield slows dramatically and leaves the racetrack.
No, he's
not. He stayed out on the racetrack, but the car comes to a stop in turn 3. Well, there's something on the ground right behind him there, Brad. What is that?
Yeah, boy.
I wonder if that fell off the car or if that was already there. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Piece
right
of metal?
there.
See right there?
If that's what I think,
it's
it looks
off
like
the car because he's picking it up.
It looks like the.
That might have been there before.
No, that looks like the drive shaft. If that's his, it's like the drive line right between his legs. The torque tube broke and the drive shaft slid out.
Which would be one reason why you wouldn't be going forward very fast. Jack Hottenshield, we'll find out what's wrong with the 22, and we'll be right back to Terre Haute with more.
Sports, the International Basketball League was busy last night with summer games.
If you're building a new home, remember, no subfloor holds up better than one built with plywood.
Turn that music down. Stop bouncing the ball in the house.
Smart builders use it. Smart homeowners ask for it. Plywood from Georgia Pacific, because you live on your floor.
You think you're harder on your engine than most people? Well, good. Because there's a new motor oil made to take it. Introducing new Pennzoil Synthetic with Penzane. Penzane was developed for the space program and is used by NASA. Don't change your driving, just change your oil. Pennzoil Synthetic. It's rocket science for your car.
The same passion and dedication that drive our racing programs also drive the way we create parts for high-performance vehicles. And high-performing vehicles like yours. Mopar, great parts for great vehicles on the track and in your driveway. That's the Mopar difference.
You know me. Me in words. I didn't mean I didn't love you.
T-shirts that stay soft, even with repeated washing. Another reason you can count on jerseys.
Well, we're still working our way through the B main here tonight. The second one of the evening. Jack Hottenshield looks like Bobby Gerald. Maybe he's lost his drive shaft. Is that right?
That's correct. Drive line, drive shaft coming out of the car. Jack Hottenshield, that's not the first time this has happened.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of driveline trouble this year. I don't know what it is. Just twisted off a drive shaft in that last one, so I don't know.
You guys in a position to have a provisional for tonight?
Yeah, we got 2 provisionals left, so. I don't know what we're going to do here. We got to talk about it.
All right, a team decision. They may use a provisional tonight, Dave Argabright.
We talked earlier about teaching. Just a moment ago, Steve Kinzer ran up to the edge of the track while the cars were circling around under yellow and was very emphatically motioning Craig Kinzer, his son in the 11K, to move up off the bottom, to move to the outside. Now let's just see if the student was watching. Ralph?
We're back to green, and Andy Hillenberg goes sliding to the bottom on the inside of Brooke Tatnall, but he can't get the drive off the corner he needs to hold it. Tatnall gets a great run off the cushion as they came off at 2. Now what happens off of 4? Tatnall again.
And looking back at the pack, the King's kid has indeed gone to the outside. Remember, that's where he gets his allowance.
That's just where Hillenberg gets the lead, Brad, every time they go into 1 and 2. But it's that drive down the straightaway that makes a difference.
Yep. Tatnall with that momentum on the outside, but I really thought Andy was far enough ahead. He had the line, was going to take it, but boy, Brooke came back on the top. Here we go again. Andy's going to try it on the bottom.
But he's lost a little ground now.
Yep. Yeah, see, generally, after a restart like that, it takes a lap for the guy that's running the top. It's like we talked about in Talladega, the restrictor plate motors in Winston Cup. It takes a lap or 2 to get up to speed. Same thing with a sprint car running the top of a big racetrack like that. It takes a lap to get their full speed up.
So if you're going to get them on the bottom, it's that opening lap where you really have the best shot at it.
Yep.
That's James Chesson in the 22 battling deep in the pack.
Schatz and Laney.
When Donnie Schatz really struggling in that yellow 15. And look at the bleed battle, and finally, Hillenberg with a bit of a slide job takes the lead away from Brooke Tatnall.
And has pulled away, too.
Well, yeah, now he's moved upstairs, too, right?
Yep.
So he'll start to wind it up and see what he can get out of the two.
You can't pass following, so he had to try it on the bottom, and he made it work.
Oh, boy, he's going to run right into traffic as Tatnall tries to chase him back down. But you can see Andy, once he got out front, the Hoosiers really working well for him. You know, it has been really nice to see Andy Hillenberg get a fresh attitude at the racetrack. He was so down on himself all last year especially. And, you know, this weekend you go talk to him, and Andy, he's bouncing, he's smiling, he's ready to go racing.
Yeah, he got real quiet there for quite a while.
Oh, boy.
Just stayed to himself, and
just the way Donnie Schatz is now.
Yeah.
Oh, Donnie Schatz, I really feel for that kid. The way he finished the year in 1999. Oh.
Checkered flag is out. James Chesson, it looks like, will get the last transfer spot in fourth. Hillenberg gets the win. Tatnall, Stewart, Chesson, your top four. And Logan comes up one spot short. Here's the results from the B main. And Ricky Logan coming up just one spot short of going to tonight's A main event.
And then there was one. A 30-lap race to wind up this marathon evening.
There's the move right there. Hillenberg takes the Luxair number 2 to the front to the win, and now to the A main.
It didn't have to end like this. Armor All Protecting. Armor All Car Wax. It's not just shine. It's Armor All.
Call it a bonanza, an extravaganza. It's how you save on tires. Now at Pep Boys, all 35,000-mile tires are 4 for only $99, and all 70,000-mile tires 4 for $169. Pep Boys.
Cars like us.
People love us.
This preview contains 2 flame-broiled, quarter-pound burgers, smothered with hot melted cheese. That's a lot of meat for national television. Got the urge?
Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond D.
If you love really big trucks and gritty in-your-face action, then you've got to have Mud and Monster Madness 1 and 2. Call 800-507-1800 and own the best tumbles, flips, and mud bargain on home video. It's monster action and monster excitement. Get your Extreme 1 crash video absolutely free with your purchase of Mud and Monster Madness 1 and 2. 3 great videos for only $15.99. All that action at such a low price. Don't wait. Order now. 800-507-1800 or order online at DiamondPSports.com. Your interactive pit pass.
Welcome back to Terre Haute, Indiana, where we are getting ready now for our final race of the night. It'll be the A main. Dave Hargerbright is standing by with Andy Hillenberg.
Well, they're just talking about setup, but I got to tell you, Andy, that was a heck of a move for the lead. The car must be working well.
Yeah, it was working good. Brooke, he races good. So I tried him there 3 or 4 times. Like, I just come up about a foot short every time. That last time I felt like I had enough cleared. So car's working good, and Don Ott motor's running good. J&J car's working good, and Hoosier tires are working good. So we started at the back of the first one, run 7th or so. So start the back of this one and see what we can do.
Well, the good news is there's only one more race, so you probably won't have to talk to us very many more times.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind talking to you guys. I've run plenty of laps tonight, ain't I? Gee, many Christmas.
Ralph, back to you.
Well, Craig Kinzer, by the way, finished 11th. And the good news for Andy, he's not doing the Goodyear tire test, so his laps are going to be completed here once the A is done. But don't forget, all those Goodyear guys got to stick around to tire test. And Bobby, it's going to be a long night for them.
Yeah, it is. But a guy who's just wrapped up his night here in his home state at Terre Haute is Craig Kinzer. And Craig, standing here with your dad. How'd you feel about your performance tonight?
I felt pretty good. I gave all I could basically give. Not as much experience as I had. I think I did pretty good.
Oh, not bad at all for a 15-year-old. I mean, we got to put this in perspective now. How's your dad been with you? Are you learning a lot?
Yeah, he tells me what to do on the track, basically gives me setup pointers. He's helped a lot.
Is it past your bedtime, though, right now? We're up here pretty late.
Yeah, it's pretty late. I'd still like to be running the feature, but...
I understand a little bit of that Kinzer competitiveness coming through. I think he's a little disappointed he's not in the main event with you, Dad.
Well, we threw him out there with a bunch of people that he wasn't really ready to be here, but he didn't have no place else to run. He wanted to come and run, so we thought we'd let him. He probably learned more here this weekend than he would have learned running local 4 or 5, maybe a month. I don't know, but he did a good job as he outrun a lot of good race cars. Been running for a long time, and he's got a long way to go. He's going to make a lot of races.
Very quickly, you're on the front row now of this feature event with Sammy Swindell. Sammy's changing the motors. You know he's not going to be able to work on the chassis like he likes to. Is this to your advantage?
Well, he looked like he had it pretty well dialed in there in the dash, and he ran good in that first main. He knows what he's doing, so he's going to be hard to outrun no matter how short a time you cut him.
All right, Steve Kinzer and Sammy Swindell shaping up as a classic front row, Dave Argabright.
Or Johnny Herrera. Now, this A feature might be a little bit of an adventure for Johnny. You had to switch cars after that earlier crash. Can you sort it out that quickly?
Well, we hope so. You know, we had a good starting spot that first one and got in that crash there and kind of tore that race car up. So guys got the other one down, and we missed a little bit in that heat race and backed up a little bit. But hopefully we made the right choices for the race car and go to the front with it.
You're starting 17th. It's a good ways back. Is a strategy in that situation just see what the track will give you?
Well, basically, I mean, basically right now it's got to almost one line, and you do some slide jobs, so we just got to get what we can, and hopefully it's the right decision we made on the race car and get the Networks car to the front.
I got to ask a question. When you have a collision with somebody, you crashed with Stevie earlier, this series you race with these guys night in, night out, do you just forget about that stuff pretty quickly?
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know what happened there, and it was a bad move. At the time, it was a bad move, and I was a little upset. But you know, we have to race these guys night after night, so we just got to put it behind us and go to the next race.
Well, Ralph, he's smiling with a good attitude, ready to go racing.
That he is, and Johnny Herrera, who had that number 20 out here earlier, spent a big part of the afternoon out cruising around on his yellow Harley-Davidson Fat Boy. Cruising up and down the main streets here in Terre Haute. Look at everybody wrapped up in blankets. It is chilly out here tonight. That big storm that passed through here last night brought a lot of cold temperatures with it. You hanging in there, Bobby?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Darren Pittman's doing all right. They got the heaters on the motors, so that's it's kind of, you know, seeping off over to us a little bit here. But you're starting 6th tonight in the feature event, Darren. Give us your thoughts on the feature coming up.
Well, we put ourselves in a good situation here. We get a start up front, so that always makes things go a little bit better. So, you know, but we started up front in the last race and backed up pretty quick. So hopefully we can just stay up there and, you know, get by a couple of these guys and, you know, hopefully end up front and maybe get a shot to win at this thing.
You had a 2nd place finish earlier this year at Joplin. How sweet would it be to either duplicate that or maybe do one better?
Oh, well, we always want to try to get better. I'll tell you what, we've had a chance to win 2 or 3 races here this year. We've led and been up front. You know, the car's been real fast, and we've been pretty consistent up there. So we just got to get that first one in, and hopefully pick up some sponsors here along the way.
Darren Pittman starting 6th tonight, Ralph.
And looking very, very strong, Bobby. Expect a lot of that Kenny Woodruff wrenched machine of Darren Pittman's. Okay, they're making their final adjustments down in the pit area, siphoning the tires up and getting ready to go. We'll have it for you when we come back to Terre Haute.
The Winston, NASCAR's all-star race, May 20th on TNN.
This weekend on Popular Hot Rodding Television, you'll see how roots-type blowers work, and we'll answer the question, what makes this Buick GSX so bad to the bone?
Popular Hot Rodding Television, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on TNN.
It's happening. It's exciting. And it's on right now.
Unbelievable.
All this weekend, catch our HBO The Works and Multimax preview. A free look at the unique entertainment everyone's talking about.
What news?
Big hits and hard-to-find movies, original series, live sports action, and major documentaries, plus children's shows that are in a class of their own. Check out the HBO The Works and Multimax free preview right now on DirecTV.
Because life is just too short.
Let the party begin.
Oh, what a hit!
Inside fastball, struck him out.
There's no reason to panic.
It is long gone. Oh, man. How do you like that?
Focus.
That was incredible. Oh, what a catch. Doesn't get any better than this.
Membership has its privileges.
You know, we were picking on these guys about stealing the banner. Now they're hanging it back up.
I've never seen one ever hung back up.
What is that all about?
I told you they were just keeping it safe for us. You know, made sure somebody else didn't steal it.
I guess they found out maybe Mom already had one. It wasn't going to be a good Mother's Day gift after all.
Well, maybe they got a cell phone. Somebody called and said, "Hey, you've been on TV.
You've been busted.
You better put that thing back up."
Could be. Oh my, how funny. I've never had one of my banners thrown back at me, Bobby Gerald.
Me neither. I don't think I have any banners. Mark Kinzer, 10 races at Terre Haute. You have won 3 of them. What's it going to take for you to win your 4th tonight?
Well, I tell you what, Steve's awful tough. Sammy's looking pretty good. Joey's there. He'll probably get us on the start. I think he's got the preferred line. It's just going to take a lot of guts.
You said the preferred line. Where is it?
I think it'll be on the bottom on the start. There's a little moisture down there from where it was flooded earlier today, which made it a marathon day. You know, Mother Nature just hasn't been very friendly to us on these TV shows. Maybe she'll smile on us someday.
Your father, Carl Kinzer, tuning up this car. How's his spirits tonight?
Well, he's been pretty hard to get along with lately. He don't like to run that far back, and it's been a tough year. And you know, he's talked about changing the driver. So hopefully we can pull one off tonight.
All right, good luck to you, Mark.
Thanks, Bobby.
I said earlier about when Carl bolted the Hoosiers on, he'll make a change if whatever it takes to make that race car fast.
And Carl will not allow anything, including family relations, get in the way of business. So, you know, when Mark makes a statement like that, which is a big statement to say that, you know, Carl's threatening to change the driver, whatever it is, you know, don't think he's just kidding. I mean, Carl will throw fear into everybody to make them step their game up to where he thinks they should be running.
Hopefully that's just a ploy to get Mark to maybe pick it up a little bit.
It's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
Dave Argabright?
Well, you know, Ralph, they've raced for 50 years at this great racetrack in Indiana, and goes all the way back to Tommy Hintershitz and Jimmy Bryan, and even through the Jan Opperman era. But one of the neat things, there's always been a great infield tradition here at Terre Haute, where in the old days it was a Sunday afternoon with fried chicken and so on under the sunshine watching sprint cars. And when they put the lights up here a few years ago, a lot of people wondered if they'd still have that infield crowd. And we've seen tonight, it's a chilly night a little bit here. The weather came through and cooled us way off from last night, but here they are. There's a lot of faithful fans that just love to flock and buy a cheap ticket and go in the infield and just enjoy the evening. So it's kind of a neat heritage and history they've got here, and looks like they've got the tradition still going. Ralph?
I'll tell you another place that has a big infield that I always like to go take a walk through, and when we get up there on the first night, is up at the Grove.
Oh, yeah.
At Williams Grove. I always go, when we get there that first night, just go spend the night down in the infield. It's awesome.
These old racetracks, he was talking about the history in the infield. It's quite a tradition.
And all the talk the early part of the season has been about the brand new racetracks, and they are in Houston, in Texas, coming up in Charlotte, the dirt on Bristol. But still, even a young guy like Ralph Shaheen, you still love to go to Williams Grove because it just reeks of history.
Yep.
And especially if the promoters or owners of the track, like they have here, continue to improve the facilities, the restaurant, the food service, the fan amenities, these tracks can survive forever.
You know, I just figured out the reason they were taking those banners, they were wrapping themselves up in it to stay warm, I think.
Yeah, they pulled it back down. They're hanging on to it. They're not crazy. They're going to hang that baby up in a garage somewhere.
Are they teasing us or what with that baby?
Bobby Gerald?
Well, I tell you what, guys, at every race, there is always somebody who is the first alternate. And in this case tonight, it is Ricky Logan, who is strapped in, seated, and ready to go if the need could arise. Now, what's going to have to happen here for you to get in this feature?
Someone doesn't start or they have a problem once they get out there. We're the first one in because we ran 5th in the B. You know, we're just chasing the car all night, just a little slow. The Avenger was going good, but not quite good enough.
You've been racing with the Gum Out Series and also here with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. What are your plans for the rest of the season?
We're going to try to run the whole Gum Out Series. I think we're about 5th or 6th in points right now. We're going to try to do that whole deal.
All right, well, we wish you luck, and maybe you'll get in this one.
All right, thanks.
Ricky Logan sitting here, maybe ready to run the feature.
You know, we were talking about some of the newer tracks. I live in Charlotte, and I've had the opportunity to go by Lowe's Motor Speedway on a regular basis and watch that as they complete that. They've also been finishing off the new Ford Grandstand at the big track there right across the street. But it looks like the 4/10 100-mile dirt track that's just about completed, will be done on schedule. Humpy Wheeler and the gang have really done a wonderful job of getting that place together. It's going to be a wonderful facility for the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. There you can get a good look at some of our camera people out there freezing tonight right along with the crowd. And everybody in Charlotte really excited. I know a lot of the Winston Cup people are anxious to come watch the Outlaws in action. Dave?
Well, Ralph, we're here with Joey Saldana getting ready to start. Joey, a lot of people are saying the start is going to be very critical of this race. What do you think?
Definitely. These guys, once you fall in line, everybody's so fast, it's tough to pass somebody. So hopefully we can get a good start, and who knows, maybe we can win this.
Is this the advantage that Hoosier gives you, that they're able to perform more quickly?
Definitely. Hoosier's definitely got something on Goodyear right now that on the initial starts, they just take off really good. And we're just lucky to have them on. And I like to say hi to my grandpa back in Lincoln. He ain't doing so good, so hopefully he's watching tonight.
Well, Joey Saldana is going to give his grandfather something to watch here in a little bit. Ralph, back to you.
Thank you, David. Joey's getting set to get pushed off, and there's Greg Stevens. Is that Greg? Freezing out there, enjoying himself. I know, loving the Outlaws. We'll be right back for the A.
Deck and patio owners, have you ever been frustrated by the weather on your deck or patio? Struggling with the blazing hot midday sun or those unpredictable summer showers? At last, there's a solution that lets you outsmart the weather. It's the easy-to-use and affordable Sunsetter retractable awning. And right now, you can get the whole Sunsetter story in this free catalog and video. Inside, you'll discover how the easy-to-use Sunsetter can help you to enjoy your deck or patio more, rain or shine. In fact, it's like adding a whole extra outdoor room to your home. The easy-to-use Sunsetter is simple to operate, opening almost effortlessly in less than 30 seconds to create an instant outdoor shelter when sudden showers strike, and a comfortable shaded retreat on those hot sunny days. In fact, with Sunsetter, you'll stay up to 30 degrees cooler even on the hottest summer days. Plus, our easy-to-add accessories turn Sunsetter into a complete outdoor living room, perfect for insect-free enjoyment and entertaining all day and right into those balmy summer nights. All for thousands less than adding a costly addition to your home. Plus, we'll also include details on our newest Sunsetter motorized awning that opens and closes automatically at the simple touch of a button. And because we manufacture Sunsetter ourselves and sell direct to you, we're able to offer incredible factory direct prices that save you hundreds of dollars. So stop struggling with the weather. Start enjoying your deck or patio more than ever before with the easy-to-use and affordable Sunsetter retractable awning. Call for your free video and catalog today.
To receive your free video and catalog on the Sunsetter retractable awning, including exciting details about a special savings offer on now, just call toll-free 1-800-743-4900. That's 1-800-743-4900. Call now.
Check this out, Doty. Evans' kid gets a TV show. Not only we have to promo it once, we got to promo it twice. Telling you the man has pull. Hey, race fans, Popular Hot Rodding, your favorite performance magazine, is now on TNN. Host Cameron Evans, Steve's kid, and NHRA funny car driver Dean Scusa will dial you in on all the latest performance trends and killer feature cars. Don't miss Popular Hot Rodding each Sunday in May at 2:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, right here on TNN. Just for that, Cameron, you got to get that Mustang back to your old man. Tim Schaefer is out here getting ready to go racing in the Vibrant 11. He's got a unique driving style as well as the rest of the field out there does. They all have their unique style, and he told us about his.
I used to like running the top way on the edge. I still do at times, but it's not always fast, so you gotta go where the track's fast. I used to be known to run on a cushion on the edge a lot, so I'm starting to learn how to get the cars working better and run down on the track.
What was your style, Brad?
Fast, you know, just fast.
Oh, yeah, I should have known.
Yeah, boy, that's a tough one, Ralph, because just like him saying he liked to run the top.
You have a favorite spot on the track?
No, not really. Looking back, most of my major wins were on drier, slick racetracks and even some of the daytime racetracks. So I guess if if I ever had an advantage, it was probably on a daytime type racetrack.
I remember Ascot on one warm afternoon.
Wheels up, baby.
Whoa,
That's still the
baby.
best video of a sprint car I've ever seen, that Coors Light car. That was awesome. Jeff Shepard. An attitude with your rivals is a big thing. There is the Ford J of Jeff. He told us a lot about racing against the Outlaws.
I look at everybody as being the same, on the same playing ground, on, you know, everybody's the same level. If I thought Steve Kinzer was better than I am, or Sammy was better, then whenever I got near those guys, I would never race them, you know, wheel to wheel. I would get, they're easy, they can intimidate you easily. And with that, you go out there, you think of everybody as being equal, so that you have a, you know, a mindset to go out there and think that, you know, you can beat them.
And it has a lot to do with that attitude. When you see Steve or Sammy coming up alongside you, you can't flinch, can you, Brad?
Not at all, and they can intimidate you too.
Very easily. All right, how about an A feature coming your way when we come back?
Presenting the complete state quarter collection of the 20th century. Presented in beautiful, vibrant colors and available only from the American Historic Society. The new state quarters are the coins everyone's collecting. In this historic program, our country will issue 5 state quarters a year for 10 years. Each state will be minted for only 10 weeks and never minted again. The first 5 quarters minted in 1999 are quickly disappearing as Americans rush to hoard these prized coins. And with good reason. These first 5 were minted in only half the quantity as the newer states. Because they will never be minted again, their value could grow dramatically. And as the years go on, they could become very difficult to find. But you can have all 5, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut, in brilliant uncirculated condition and magnificently colorized for each state's unique design. And to display them, our specially designed United States map with individual slots for each state's quarter. This complete set is the perfect collectible for yourself and a great gift for someone special. This collection is not available in any store, but through this special television offer is yours for only $19.95. Call now and we'll include our 50-state facts book, filled with exciting information about each state. Due to overwhelming demand for these quarters, this is a limited offer for a limited time. You must act now to ensure you get your complete 20th century colorized state quarter collection. But wait, order within the next 10 minutes and we'll include a special bonus, the first quarter of the year 2000. That's right, the Massachusetts State Quarter, also presented in beautiful, vibrant color, absolutely free. To order your complete 20th century quarter collection, display map, and free 50 states facts book, have your credit card ready and call our toll-free number. Order within the next 10 minutes and you'll also get the Massachusetts Quarter absolutely free. Call now.
Well, we came on the air live on TNN some 4.5 hours ago, and now we're ready for the final A main of the night. Here is your Mopar starting grid. Sammy Swindell and Steve Kinzer. What a row number 1 that is. Joey Saldana and Mark Kinzer in row 2. Brian Paulus and Darren Pittman in row 3. Stevie Smith and P.J. Chesson, Tyler Walker and Danny Wood. Jeff Shepard and Andy Hillenberg has been running so well tonight in row 6. Dale Blaney and Dean Jacobs in row 7. Young Casey Kane and Brad Furr in row 8. Johnny Herrera and Danny Lisowski, 2 drivers who are strong but have had a rough night. Can they fight their way up to the top? Brooke Tatnell and Tim Schaefer. Andy Hillenberg in row 11 with Shane Stewart. James Chesson and Lance Blevins in row 12.
The last
and
thing,
Randy Hannigan in the 8th row, and that completes your Mopar starting grid.
So Hannigan took a provisional, in other words.
Yep.
But the last thing Danny Lisowski needed was to start this far back with the King in the front row.
Yeah.
He's bound to suffer a little points damage tonight.
Here comes the start of tonight's A feature. Who's going to get there first, Kinzer or Swindell? 3 wide, 4 wide through turn 2. Lots of beating and banging. Mark Kinzer said his dad was threatening him, and he is hard on the gas to make the old man proud. Sammy Swindell just squeezes in between the wall and Steve Kinzer.
This was worth the wait.
Oh, absolutely, and you're seeing it all live here on TNN Sports. There's your onboard look. That's off of Steve Kinzer as he looks back at cousin Mark, who moves up top. The Mopar 5M. Boy, is Mark on the gas or what? He's giving it all he's got. Sammy trying to drive away. Mark puts a slide job on Steve as we get a crash with Brad Furr.
Yeah, Dean Jacobs was involved as we went to the shot.
Turn 4.
A couple other cars, Brad Furr.
Turn 4 is where the car is at.
Looks like he's got a radius rod knocked off that's got the axle shoved, front axle shoved back, and the torsion arm has fallen off.
And a flat left front tire on top of that, just to add a little salt to the wound.
Yeah, so contact with somebody on the left front, punctured the tire in, probably tore the radius rod off all in one.
Brad is out of the car. He's okay. Let's take a look at the replay.
Oh, it's like Casey Kane. Well, yeah, Brad and him had gotten together.
And Dean Jacobs slides through on the
outside.
outside.
Look at that. Kane keeps going.
A full 360, maybe 2.
And he'll get to get his spot back. Had he stopped, he would have had to go to the tail. Brad Furr's the only one stopping, so.
And it's very difficult to keep these engines running because there's no clutch you can push in. There's no neutral you can find. You've got to keep the engine running on your own. If you stall it, well, you have to get a push and go to the back.
Now, this was a bad break for the leaders. This has been a great break for some of the big names that were trapped at the back. Danny Lasowski, Johnny Herrera, people like that who got stuck deep in the field because of a lousy performance earlier on tonight, need to fight their way up to the front. This is really going to help them, Brad.
Yeah, it will, and they're going to need more of these as the race goes on and gets strung out a little bit. This was, early first lap or 2 of the race, so these yellows will even be more critical at the opportune time later in the race if it gets too strung out.
The only positive thing for the leaders with the yellow is they're not going to face traffic quite as soon because they were almost in it as when it went yellow.
Well, I tell you, that was a bold move by Sammy going around the outside of Steve. He knew how important it was to get that lead. I mean, once Steve's in front, well, any of these guys, I mean, once they're in front, it's hard to pass. But he made that bold move there to take the lead.
Well, let's go to Bobby Gerald with an update on Brad Furr.
Race, tell us what happened there, Brad.
I'm not exactly sure. We were just a couple guys kind of almost got together there. One guy got a little sideways, and I had to miss him. I just had nowhere to go.
How bad's the damage to your car?
It's just basically some radius rods and drag links, but I just don't know if we'll have time to get it back together. Well, I guess they'll try.
All right, they'll give it a good shot. Brad Furr getting ready to try to get back out in here. Also, Tyler Walker has ducked into the pit area as well. Dave Argabride is over there near the scene, so hopefully we'll get an update from him very quickly.
There is the 5M with the Chrysler Mopar insignia on its roof. And guys, we heard Mark say Carl's even threatening to change the driver. We said, Brad, that maybe it's a psychological thing. Well, if it is, it worked because Mark is really sitting up in the seat. Steve, elbows up and on the gas.
I don't think Carl Kinzer knows the first thing about psychology or any kind of subterfuge. He is so out front that if he says it, he means it.
Well, but I tell you, he's an excellent coach. He has been a good coach with Steve Kinzer and anybody that's ever sat in his race cars through the years. So I think hopefully it's a little bit of a mind game also.
Dave Argabright?
Well, they're trying to figure out, Ralph, what the problem is on Tyler Walker's car. There's a discussion. They're looking at the front end. Now they're rolling the car backwards, and it looks like they're not going to try to restart. They can't quite figure out what it is, but something is obviously wrong with the steering. Tyler's trying to tell his crew what it's doing, and they're sort of puzzled here, trying to figure out exactly what to do. They just rolled the car back, and it looks like they're not really sure what to change here, so we may not see him restart. Ralph?
Tough break, and it's an even tougher break for Greg Hodnett because he's hoping to be a part of the tire test with that car as we see the fluids leaking out, which is coming up a little way.
Yeah, the radiator shoved back. All that mud has actually shoved the radiator back and broken the radiator, and so they've got bigger problems than just the steering.
There is Darren Pittman, who is out on the track, currently running in 8th, and he has been awfully strong tonight. A big part of that is due to the commitment he has to his racing program this year.
I can't necessarily say that I would have put myself in the situation that we're in this year to come out here and put our own team together with Kenny Woodruff and spend our own money if I really didn't feel like the series was growing as fast as they are, and with these new racetracks that we're going to, it should just make things that much better, and hopefully things will continue to escalate from here, and we'll go to more NASCAR tracks and hopefully attract more corporate sponsors.
Well, when you got a crew chief like Kenny Woodruff, too, being committed is a good thing because he is just like Carl Kinzer. He will put the fear in you in a hurry.
Well, that shows how chemistry is so important in this any type of thing, but especially racing. Dale Blaney and Kenny Woodruff struggled. they went their separate ways, and they're both successful with new teams. So, you know, it's not that either one of them was at fault. It just didn't work.
And I get the impression during the interviews with Darren Pittman that he is the complete package. An excellent driver. He's very well spoken and seems to have a good business head as well as we look at the further damage on, I guess that's
Brad Furr.
Yeah, Brad Furr.
Well, Brad, you drove for Kenny, and you've even said that he can be a tough guy to wheel for.
He can, that intimidation we talked about. Yeah, you know, he keeps you pumped up. When you go to the track, you better come there to race. And I knew that going into the. And I was a little skeptical. I was a little nervous about taking it. You know, I was kind of early in my career and stuff, but we got along really well and won some races, and I thought pretty successful.
The most classic example of that in sports this year is Phil Jackson with the LA Lakers.
Well, you know, and there's a difference too. I was going to ask you this. I mean, lately we've seen a lot as we take a look at the in-car camera views that we're going to have. We're seeing a lot about Bobby Knight, another Hoosier here, and how he coaches. And nobody's slinging chairs across the floor here as you look at Steve Kinzer's view, but does that approach, that aggressive, put the fear in you approach, work with a sprint car driver?
Some, but some it backfires, and you can intimidate the driver, and you can get him so low, like Donnie Schatz. You know, we talked about his confidence level being so low, and Dale Blaney talked about it. I mean, you can beat on a guy so bad, you get him down too low, and it's hard to get back up.
You quit believing in yourself.
Absolutely.
Well, you saw the 4 different cars you're carrying on board. Look at Steve following Sammy everywhere he goes. And Steve ducks to the bottom as they come off of 4. On board with Steve in the upper right, Sammy in the upper left. And look at Mark right in the back of Steve as we go green.
Boy, that was very interesting. Steve wasn't sure quite what to do there when Sammy started his little maneuvers there.
And that hesitation gave Sammy a lot of breathing room.
I'll tell you, you think these guys aren't thinkers? I mean, Sammy acted like he was going to stay on the bottom and turn to the outside like that, and it actually confused Steve a little bit, it looked like.
Brian Paulus is in that 28 running in 4th, and he is doing a wonderful job here tonight. Brian right behind Mark Kinzer.
As he has been here lately. He's been running really well. Run some of the asphalt stuff with the Silver Crown cars as well. And
set fast time at Huset's in April. 3rd at the season opener at Kings with just 5 laps to go before he ended up crashing out of that one. So Brian has been up front this year on occasion, looking for that consistency, and he's really doing a wonderful job here tonight. Joey Saldana on the inside of him in 5th. That's a fight for 4th. Saldana, that white 17.
How you handle traffic is going to be absolutely critical here. Every driver out there will tell you that. And if you can play the chess game, if you can drive 2 or 3 cars ahead of where you are.
Well, you know, the World of Outlaws have taken some criticism about the races being won off the front row. There's Darren Pittman and Dale Blaney, who we just talked about a while ago. Kenny Woodruff has worked on both of those cars.
Here's that battle for 10th. Darren Pittman on the outside in the blue 3, and Dale Blaney, you're watching him, the Amoco 93 on the bottom.
Let me finish that thought about the guys, you know, saying that the World of Outlaws are won off the front row. These guys are so competitive, and these cars are so fast. If you would invert 8 or 10 cars or more, it's still probably going to be one off the front row, and the lap traffic is the key to winning a World of Outlaw race, is getting through that traffic.
Up to the front we'll go to take a look at the battle for the lead now as we watch Dale Blaney on board with Steve Kinzer, who runs in 2nd. Sammy Swindell is getting close to the traffic. You see the blue 1 up front, and look how Steve starts to close in a little bit as they get into that traffic.
Steve has 6 A-feature victories this year. Sammy only has 1.
Out the back of Sammy. No Steve seen there. And stick around. He'll be coming. There he is.
Oh, Sammy's jumped the cushion.
Sammy having some troubles behind the wheel of the 1. There he is, coming to a rest.
When we were on Steve's in-car camera, I saw Sammy jump the cushion. He's got a
look at the damage of the suspension.
He's done. He talked about earlier, he hit that clod, just did that little bit of a wheelie. Well, this time it looks like it tore.
There's his crew. They're not sure where to run yet.
That car, they probably can't get that fixed under yellow conditions. It tore the right rear torsion arm off. That's the suspension part. Although he is in a good spot, he did make it to turn 4.
Now let's see what happens. He's outside of Brook Tatnall. That thing just goes.
Okay, this is in turn 3, the same spot he hit that rut or that clod before.
There it is. Did you see it?
Yep. Boy, you know what? He didn't really do anything wrong there. That car, again, I think it's these lightweight pieces.
I was going to say, I'm not so sure he hit anything, Brad.
Well, he hit the cushion. He did bounce. He did, you know, hit the berm and the cushion. But that car, that stuff should take a bigger beating than that.
Well, we saw sparks. It appeared to be from possibly the differential.
Well, we'll see if we can get a word from Sammy to find out. Unbelievable. We'll be right back to Terre Haute. Stay with us.
The Winston, NASCAR's all-star race, May 20th on TNN.
This week on Popular Hot Rodding Television, Cam and Dean will show you how Roots-type blowers work and why they're the blowers of choice for performance fans. Chevy faithful gather near Phoenix for a high-horsepower Super Chevy event. And what makes this rare, bad-to-the-bone Buick GSX just as home on the street as it is on the strip? Tune in and find out.
Popular Hot Rodding Television, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on TNN.
You want to watch a hit movie on DirecTV, but your day's so busy you think it's not for me. You gotta drop the kids and your dog needs a walk, and when the really good part comes, that's when Mama calls to talk. But just look for the all-day ticket, pay once, and when you're ready you can pick it all day till 6 a.m. Eastern. So when you're watching the show and you really gotta go, just get all-day ticket, and when you're ready you can pick it
every step of the way.
You know what I'm saying? All-day ticket.
We all have questions about love. Why not get the answers you need right now with a free psychic reading?
Congratulations. You recently got engaged?
Wow. I just got engaged 2 weeks ago.
Well, you better hope she doesn't find out that you spent last Sunday night with your old girlfriend.
Oh, hello? He hung up. I guess you really ran him. These psychics are real, so call us and try your free reading right now.
Call 1-800-989-1138.
Everybody thrashing on Sammy Swindell's car, trying to get him ready. Bobby, how are they doing?
They've got a torsion arm, and the whole rear suspension has gone away on Sammy Swindell's number 1 there. Without that torsion arm, you can't hold up the right side of the car. So they're trying to make that switch right now, guys.
Devin DeLucio from Stevie Smith's car working on that right rear there.
Trying to get the shock off there. That's a lot of work to try to get done under this yellow flag.
And Sammy's in the car where you can't really see the damage himself.
Well, Stevie Smith in the 19 car is having a pretty good run. He is sitting in 5th right now, but last year in 99, a lot of ups and downs for Stevie and the Ingersoll Rand crew.
Several times we had a chance to win and things just didn't work out as they did the year before, and the competition's getting tough. There's a lot of good teams, and it's getting harder each year. So all you can do is fight back and do your best.
Danny Lasowski, by the way, who started this race 18th, is up to 6th and coming, and we're only 9 laps in, so keep your eyes on the Beefpacker 83. Mark Kinzer and Cousin Steve going to go to war here in their home state of Indiana. Steve out front, Mark giving chase. Hoosiers on the car in front, Goodyear's on the car behind. Mopar chasing Chevy-based engine.
Well, this has got it all, doesn't it?
Everything. Everything. Here's Brian Paulus and Joey Saldana going at it. Saldana in the white 17. Here's Lasowski, who's caught Stevie Smith, who goes inside of Brian Paulus to take over a slot. That's the fight for 4th. Give it to Stevie. Oh. And now Danny comes inside, and he's going to pick off 2 by the time they get to the corner.
Man, he come out of 4 like he was shot out of a cannon.
Lasowski on the Hoosier tires as well. He is following Stevie Smith right up through the field.
Danny has a knack. You generally, when you run your car around the bottom of the racetrack, you need more stagger, which means a smaller left rear tire. But Danny has a knack of being able to put a big left rear tire on that gives him a lot of forward bite off the corner and still be able to roll and run around the bottom of the racetrack.
Now he's getting to the Stevie Smith fence, who gets inside of Saldana for 3rd. And now Lasowski is all over the backside of Saldana as well. Out the front side of Joey Saldana, and there goes Lasowski right by him and into 4th. He started 18th and is is already up to 4th.
And
now he goes inside of Stevie Smith for 3rd.
You give Danny a yellow here, and he might just win this thing.
I guarantee you, Steve, that's exactly what he's hoping for right now is a yellow.
Well, Stevie Smith is not done with him yet, and let me tell you something, Steve and Mark Kinzer are not too far out in front of these two hard chargers.
That's why Lasowski would like to see a yellow right now, put him right on the bumper of Mark and Steve Kinzer.
Steve Kinzer continues to lead this with Mark chasing him in second. Daniel lost a lot of time there,
he
Brad.
missed the bottom. I was just getting ready to cut. You could see his brake rotors are red hot. It takes a lot of brake to slow the car down to stay tight on the bottom, and he missed the bottom a little bit there and let Stevie Smith get back by.
Stevie Smith running up top. There are your lead two just in front of him. You saw the differential. Let's pull up to the lead. There they are. The Quaker State 11 of Steve Kinzer, the Mopar 5M of Mark, and Mark is coming after it.
Mark has closed in a lot just in the last lap or so.
Look at that, to the inside. Mark Kinzer's got the lead.
Mopars rule.
With the Goodyears, don't forget.
Wow. He looks like he's getting faster, and Steve is starting to slow.
And if the Goodyear guys are planning on a tire test coming up after this, they got to be feeling, poor Brian Paulus has shredded a right rear. Unbelievable.
He hasn't had any luck. He's trying to get up to turn 4 to where they can stop and change the tire.
How excited is Lasowski right now?
Oh, you know, we see Danny hunching forward and pulling on the seat belts a lot and getting kind of a nervous twitch. He'll really be pulling on those belts now and getting himself sitting up in that seat ready for a charge on this restart.
And if Steve Kinzer was seeing some tire problems as slowing him down, getting the yellow help him cool those heights down a little bit, that'll help him as well, won't it?
It sure will. And with Danny, though, I mean, he wasn't slowing a bit, so I don't know whether Steve's was a tire problem or not, but it probably was. This looks like it was a cut tire that wasn't worn through, as you can still see tread on Paulus's, what's left of his tire laying there on the racetrack.
Those are just the remains of Brian Paulus's right rear tire. What a great job Brian Paulus did here tonight, though, as he put on quite a show in that 28.
Well, once again, we got pieces of
there is Steve Kinzer's Quaker State machine, just behind Mark. Steve told me this is basically the same car he started the entire season with. He has made a few changes to it and had a couple of things he's had to replace, but for all intents and purposes, it's the same basic chassis. To be this late in the season, Brad, that's pretty darn good.
It really is, because building these race cars so lightweight and everything, I mean, the chassis, they can only do so much, but generally after 15 or 20 races, they'll change them.
They're about a third of the way in, I would say, to the year. Bobby Gerald?
Well, this is a 12 Hoosier that you're looking at, a 12 compound Hoosier coming off of Brian Paulus's car, and it has gone away completely. We talked with Scott Gherkin, Steve Kinzer's crew chief. He says that they have a 15 Hoosier, which is a little more compound to work with than what Brian Paulus had. So you saw how this one shredded totally down for Paulus. Steve Kinzer, some of the leaders going with something a little bit harder, so they may be all right, guys. But then, hey, it's dirt track racing, you never know.
Well, Bobby, I don't think that Brian Paulus's problem was worn through, like the tire was too soft, because as I commented, the pieces that were still laying on the racetrack had tread on them. I could still see tread and groove, so I think he cut it, maybe ripped it on a rock or something on the cushion, but I really don't think it was a wear problem.
And these tires are so thin, Brad, that when they do come apart, they're going to come apart like shredding paper one way or the other anyway.
And the reason so thin is so they'll roll over and get side biting, as we talked earlier, so they'll grow down the straightaways.
Stand up and grow. All right, now, how good of a start can Mark Kinzer get with his Goodyears? Let's see. Now he goes to the bottom. Steve goes up top. Lasowski follows on the bottom, and Stevie Smith goes upstairs as well. Lasowski's trying to get third. He's just inside of Steve Kinzer right now as Mark starts to pull away in front of them. Lasowski takes third and goes for second to the inside of Steve. He started 18th, and now he's fighting for second.
Oh, Shane Stewart. Shane Stewart sitting there. Down in turn 4.
Didn't need a yellow there.
No.
And I don't know if we had gotten a complete lap. I'm trying to remember if Danny's going to have to go back to...
Yeah, I think he will. I don't think we got a complete lap in.
Well, Lasowski got the season off to a good start, taking the World of Outlaw points lead early on, but then that engine problem at Eldora, a place he's never run well at, has really put him back in the points. There's a good look at the crew standing up on top of the hauler watching.
I was at Eldora that night that Danny lost the point lead, and like as you said, Eldora not his favorite racetrack, and they struggled a little bit, and then they just had problem after problem. And I saw him immediately after the race was over. He changed real quick and headed toward his motorhome, and boy, it was looked like a long, lonely walk. He wasn't a happy camper.
But he does have the most wins on the tour already, Steve.
Well, Eldora may not be his most famous racetrack, but Knoxville, Iowa certainly is.
And you know what was interesting about that? Danny did pull off the win at the first visit to Knoxville this year, and I talked to him shortly thereafter, and he said, "You're not going to believe this, but I won it up top."
Huh?
Wow.
Danny winning of Knoxville is always on the bottom.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens when we go there in August for the Amoco Knoxville Nationals, big $100,000 to win show. That end of the month of money. Bobby Gerald, how is Carl Kinzer holding up?
Well, I think he's smiling now. I saw him just walk out there and tell Mark something. What kind of signal you give him?
Hey, everything's okay right now as long as we can keep him behind us. So we're running good. So they got their work cut out for him.
Now, earlier he was saying that you're threatening to put somebody else in the car.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Threats are very cheap.
He's going forward now.
Well,
click your heels, Carl. Come on.
Yeah. Brian Pauls has a new rear tire, and he's back out. So, see, maybe it was a little psychology of Carl Kinzer to threaten the team to get them all fired up and out there. And guess what? It's working with son Mark.
Hey, I'll tell you, I saw Steve and Carl go at it. I've seen Mark and Carl go at it, having screaming match and stuff. And the next day, just like that Carl with that big grin, you know, just like, oh, it's last night. You know, we don't worry about that.
And if you'd been around long ago, you'd have seen Dick Gaines and Carl going at it too, right?
Yeah. Whatever it takes to pump that driver up, I guess.
We'll be on board with Steve Kinzer for the start as he tries to catch his cousin. Mark on the gas. Steve follows him. Same way they restarted last time. Steve up top, Mark on the bottom.
And Mark is really fast on the bottom coming off of turn 2. Again, I have to admit, it's a big surprise with the Goodyears, and they have to really be happy because of all this new testing that they're going to do tonight with these other new tires.
Go, dude!
Does it again, doesn't he, Steve? Lasowski, the same thing to Stevie Smith, takes third away. Now, can he get Kinzer? Oh, and Chesson is smoking real bad, by the way. We saw a big plume of smoke go by the booth here. Lasowski reeling in the king.
Well, if Mark does hold off and win this race, people can't say that World of Outlaws won off the front row again.
No, and Lasowski has come from 18th.
From 18th. We saw Andy Hillenberg come from 18th or 19th at Topeka last year, so it can be done.
Well, I just told you it looked like James Chesson was smoking, and guess what? He's done. And he is not off the racetrack, so we're about to get another yellow. And he's climbing out. He's thinking that thing's a little too hot.
Yeah, he's got some hot oil on his feet or thinks it's flamed up or something, but he wanted out of there. You see the oil and fluids dripping off the headers there.
How weight conscious do these guys look at the steering wheel? They've taken the rubber off it because it weighed a few ounces. They've drilled holes in it everywhere. Wow.
James Chesson is out. There's a smoky finish for the night of the 22. Stay with us. We're still going at it.
With all that stuff you carry around, ever had trouble finding the one thing you need? Like an important receipt or your bank card. Now you can find all your cards and receipts instantly with the amazing Magic Wallet. Is your wallet bursting at the seams? Do you resort to this? You need the Magic Wallet. The Magic Wallet is thin, compact, good-looking, and made of top-quality leather. But watch closely, because you're about to see what makes the Magic Wallet different than any other. Simply put your cash or a receipt inside, close the wallet, and presto, it's magically grabbed and held tight under the strong nylon straps. The Magic Wallet instantly grabs parking stubs, business cards, credit card receipts, and more, so you'll know just where to find them later. But that's not all. These outside pockets hold all your credit cards, driver's license, and more conveniently and securely. And the Magic Wallet still stays thin and streamlined, so it fits easily in your shirt pocket, pants pocket, evening bag, anywhere. The Magic Wallet is handsome, convenient, and fun. Your friends will love it. There's no other wallet like it. It's magic. Old-fashioned wallets and money clips made of high-quality leather like the Magic Wallet can cost $40, $80, even $100.
Yet they can't do this. But the genuine leather Magic Wallet costs just $14.95. Plus, you'll get a special free bonus when you call now. Our exclusive auto wallet to hold and organize all your car registration and insurance papers. It's yours free when you order Magic Wallet now. Magic Wallets make great gifts. Call within the next 10 minutes and get 2 for just $19.95. You save $9.95 and get an auto wallet free. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-641-9090 now to get the amazing Magic Wallet at the special TV price of just $14.95 and get the auto wallet free. Or get 2 Magic Wallets for just $19.95 and save even more. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Call now 1-800-641-9090. That's 1-800-641-9090.
Round 2 pit stop action taking place. Well, we've done it again. We're out of fuel. And the guys have been circulating around, so they're putting some gas in them.
There's a Goodyear
gas
guy
and,
there.
you know, alcohol.
Did you see the smile on that Goodyear guy's face?
Well, you know, and they're all here. And there's a truckload of tires outside to do a little tire testing.
But if Mark wins this thing, they'll cancel the test. That's why the guy was
he's
smiling.
Thinking, you know what? They're going to go home early.
You've passed the test right here.
Yeah, it'll still be early morning. Well, if you've enjoyed what you've seen tonight on TNN's telecast of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws and you think you want to catch them in local area, they're getting ready to make a swing through the Northeast up to Pennsylvania. Lernerville Speedway on Tuesday night, then a 2-night show at the Grove. Down their way over to Maryland at Hagerstown for 2 shows, and then on down to Charlotte, where we will be for 2 nights of live TNN coverage as we inaugurate a beautiful 4/10-mile speedway that Bruton Smith and Humpy Wheeler have built at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. The Wicks Filter Showdown will be seen live both nights right here on TNN. Then up to New York, Rolling Wheels and Lebanon Valley, off to Earl's Place at Eldora, right back here to the action track, and then we hook up with them again at the Bristol Motor Speedway. What a huge crowd we should have on hand for that first race. Then to Farmer City, Illinois, and then we see him again in Topeka, Kansas. Well, let's catch up with Dave Argabright.
Well, Ralph, down here at Steve Kinser's pit, they put fuel in the car. They're sticking the tank to see if they've got enough in. They're also fiddling around with the body work a little bit. Apparently, some of these big mud clods have loosened some of this, and they're having to put some more little Zeus buttons in here, these little silver round things you see there that they use to fasten the body work together. So they're struggling to get that together. One other point I want to make, remember a long time ago at the start of this broadcast when Steve Kinser said something about he really wanted to win that first feature because he had qualified so poorly for tonight's program, but here he is again contending for the win. Just doesn't seem like anything you throw at this guy he's able to overcome it. The king is still the king. Ralph?
Well, one other thing I think is a little interesting there, Brad, is Steve is not running any kind of a rock screen here tonight. A lot of times they'll do that. It almost looks like a chicken wire going across. And on a night where there's enough big dirt clods to loosen the bodywork, you can loosen up your teeth too, because we've seen, I remember when we did the Slick 50 series out in Manzanita, we watched, remember? The rock went right through and caught Steve up underneath and cut him open pretty good.
Yeah, they had a rule for a while. They had to run a rock screen. I don't know what happened, but Steve didn't like it.
Bobby Gerald?
Getting ready to push him off. Danny Lasowski, 10 laps left. Can you do it?
I think we had a good shot at it. We didn't have this red, but you know how Carl Kinser is on the red and Scott Gherkin. Those guys are tough, but I'm real proud of our guys. We come from the back and come to the front, and they knew we were here. All right. Give them a fuel stop, though, and they're ready to regroup.
You should be nice and light. Stewart just took all the mud off your car.
I know. Isn't he something? We need him around all the time.
Looking good.
By the way, the car that Tony and Danny ran down in Florida that won 7 out of 8, the guys at Eagle Chassis, Danny draw out the design on a napkin, and the Eagle Chassis guys built it. Eagle has the car back at their shop, all mounted up, hanging on the ceiling. If you ever go to Eagle Chassis, you'll see that car hanging up on the ceiling. We'll be right back to Green coming up.
You drive the way you drive. That's just the way it is. And that's fine. Because there's a new motor oil made to take it. Introducing new Pennzoil Synthetic with Penzane. Penzane was developed for the space program and is used by NASA. Don't change your driving. Just change your oil. Pennzoil Synthetic. It's rocket science for your car.
sweating like crazy.
You got TV cameras all over you.
The last thing you want is this white clumpy thing running down your arm.
It's just rude.
We asked some of the hottest pros under the sun to switch antiperspirants.
Green visible solid? What's that? I would assume it goes on clear, but I'm not sure I believe that.
When your body heats up, Degree Invisible Solid releases extra protection with a clear difference.
Right there. See, there's no white stuff. The harder I work, the harder it works. No flaking, no funk, no Klingons.
Degree Invisible Solid works hard but never shows.
After the match, there's a ton of girls. Gotta be cool.
Pennzoil World of Outlaws getting pushed off again as we try to wrap up this show. We've showed you Friday night racing, Saturday night racing, and we're already working on Sunday night racing, Dave Hargabright.
It's a long time, and just to clarify one thing, Ralph, even though we gave him the opportunity with this fuel stop, as Carl Kinzer walked away from the 5M car just as it's being pushed off, I asked him what he changed on the car, and he just smiled and said, not a thing, just put fuel in it. So apparently he's very confident with that setup.
That car's been running pretty awesome. You know, Andy Hillenberg's doing a tremendous job, too. He is all the way up to 5th in the Luxair #2. And that's a guy that came into this out of the B main event. So yeah, Andy's flying up through the field.
Yep, came from the back as well. Maybe he was watching Lasowski up there and started following his line.
Well, and again, Brad, this goes back to what we talked about, you know, your mental attitude, how you feel getting in the car. Andy's felt so much better with the way the car's been performing since he switched over to the Hoosiers, and it's really helped him find a baseline for the car, and look at how he's running.
Yep. Well, last year he hired Ricky Warner as the crew chief, and that helped him the car. They made that step, and then they went one step further and put the Hoosiers on, and like you said, he's smiling now.
And Luxair hasn't heard a thing in that program. They're not only part of his, they're part of the whole Outlaws thing, the official heating and cooling company of the Pennzoil Outlaws.
Good point, Tom.
Bobby Gerald?
But just talk with Scott Gherkin, crew chief for Steve Kinzer. I said, Scott, did you do anything on the red flag? He said, yeah, we had to change the ignition box. So they're having problems with the ignition. He says he hopes that it will hold up here during the last 10 laps. Brad Doty, how key would that be? Obviously, you got to have the ignition.
Well, yeah, if it's cutting out, you know, they having some trouble with these ignition problems lately, and you know, if it's not firing on all cylinders, even on the slicker racetrack, it just doesn't work.
That could be bad news for Mark Kinzer. If Steve has been having a problem and has been holding him back, what's he got now? Whoa.
Well, and it's not like in the Winston Cup Series where the first box goes out, you flip the switch and you keep going. You lose this one, you're done.
Yeah, they wouldn't put two on, it'd be too heavy.
Too heavy, yeah. They couldn't drill enough holes in it. All right, get the line back up and ready to go. Mark Kinzer, Steve Kinzer, Danny Lasowski, Stevie Smith, Andy Hillenberg, your top 5. Joey Saldana, Delansky, Dale Blaney, Herrera, Jeff Shepard, top 10. Now restarts is what we've been talking about all night. Mark's going to have to do it again to hold off Steve, Danny, and Stevie.
You know, Carl, they put those Hoosiers on and said they didn't notice any difference in the tires. And he said, you heard him say, he laughs, maybe it's me. Well, maybe they were looking at tires too strongly and decided, well, maybe it's not just that. We need to work on this race car.
Well, maybe Carl is a contract Goodyear team.
Well, Carl did tell me that, you know, it was an experiment. He had to try it just to find out what the other guys had.
Yep. And like I said, maybe they ruled out, well, it's not just tires. We have another problem. Let's find out what it is and fix it. Maybe they fixed it.
Ooh.
Boy, Steve got way up there as we go back to green. You got that onboard view from Steve up in your upper right. He goes up high. Lasowski goes low. Stevie Smith goes high. Now Steve dives back to the bottom on Mark. Bounces his way over through the berm and can't get the job done.
Oh, baby.
Well, that was close, Brad. He was almost there.
Lost a lot of momentum coming off, but again, you know, that first lap's always the slowest when they get their momentum going here. As Mark, even around the bottom, it took him a lap or so to get up to speed. Now Mark goes up the top going into 3.
Mark's kind of moving around a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes up top, sometimes on the bottom with 9 to go.
Boy, he's got the stronger car, though.
And look at Lasowski. Here he comes again.
He could get a few points back here from Steve.
Getting in front of Steve would be really big for Danny.
And there he goes.
And he is right alongside of him.
You know, at the open of the show, I talked about Steve and Danny's finishes being so close together. Steve Kinzer starts on the front row. Danny starts virtually in the back, and Kinzer probably thought, boy, tonight I can gain some valuable points. And there he is. All of a sudden, there's Lasowski.
They can't shake each other, can they? And that's what's going to make this season so much fun. And let me tell you, if Mark and Carl get on a roll, they're anything but out of this deal.
There goes Lasowski by Kinzer down the front straightaway.
And that felt sweet.
Lasowski has the edge. Can he hold him now with 6 to go? Started 18th, he's up to 2nd.
Now is when Danny needs, if he can hold off Steve, now is when Danny needs a restart to put him on the bumper of Mark.
Go get Mark, yep.
Don't say that. There's 5 to go.
5 laps left as you watch the battle between Delansky and Dale Blaney. Now we cut back up. That was a fight for about 6th position.
Look at the lead Mark's got.
Mark has a huge lead now over Danny Lasowski and Steve Kinzer, but Steve's not done with Danny yet.
Boy, he's using up every bit of the racetrack. That cushion's getting higher and higher, especially through 1 and 2, and Steve was way up on there. There's Danny on the left.
Not going to go all the way upstairs to block him, is he? He's going to stay down there in the bottom where it's been working good. Hey, Steve, it doesn't not have much cushion left to work with on the edge of those corners, does he?
Nope. And then again, it's so far around. When you get a car working like Danny's is on the bottom, it's so much shorter around, and Danny's just pulling away from Steve at this point.
Here's the fight for 10th. Oh, that was almost the spin that Lasowski was looking for, as Danny Wood almost got around. He's battling it out with Johnny Herrera right now in the black 20. And that spot goes back and forth every couple of feet. Back up front, the white flag out for Mark Kinzer. His dad put the pressure on him, threatened him, and Mark Kinzer has bounced back.
And Goodyear is definitely smiling again.
And back in top of the win is Mark Kinzer. Danny Lasowski fights his way back from 18th to finish 2nd here tonight, and Steve Kinzer comes home in 3rd. Stevie Smith and Andy Hillenberg round out the field.
Oh, Shane Stewart comes up on Mark so fast he had to spin the car to keep from hitting him.
Well, we started this show off racing with you live some 5 hours ago. And TNN Sports, we hope we've shown it to you once again, our commitment to the Pennzoil World of Outlaws, staying with you all the way through to show all the racing action here. Bobby Gerald?
The smile says it all. Congratulations, Carl Kinzer. How sweet.
Thank you. Oh, that was good now. That was one of the better ones right there. We got them both. The big 2 and the little 3 got them.
You go talk to your son. We'll catch up with you in Victory Lane.
They'll enjoy it for a couple of minutes, and then if Goodyear wants to have that tire test, Carl will be right back in work mode. Stay with us. We're not done just yet. We got to come talk to our winner, Mark Kinzer. The fans empty the frigid grandstands. We'll be right back to Terre Haute.
Sports, the International Basketball League was busy last night with summer games.
If you're building a new home, remember, no subfloor holds up better than one built with plywood.
Turn that music down. Stop bouncing the ball in the house.
Smart builders use it. Smart homeowners ask for it. Plywood from Georgia Pacific, because you live on your floor.
Mopar. Great parts for these vehicles and yours. That's the Mopar difference.
TNN's coverage of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws has been brought to you by Mopar, parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. Here's a look at the results. Tonight's Wing Thunder action here at Terre Haute. Kinzer, Lasowski, Steve Kinzer, Stevie Smith, and Andy Hillenberg, your top 5. Great run for Andy Hillenberg. Joey Saldana and Dale Blaney battled it out a long time, as did Craig Delansky. Jeff Shepard and Lance Blevins round out the top 10. Johnny Herrera and Danny Wood. Dean Jacobs finishes 13th. Randy Hannigan in 15th. Brian Paulus, a great run, not shown by a 16th place finish here tonight, but an awesome performance by that young man all night long. And let's check in with Bobby Jarrell.
Mark Kinzer's third feature victory of the year 2000 and his fourth here at the Terre Haute Action Track. Congratulations, Mark, and does this mean your ride is safe now?
I think so. You know, I can't say enough for everybody that works at Mopar and Mopar Vehicle Care Products, keeps that showroom shine on that car. And Bell helmets that I touched on earlier, you know, they've been awful good to me through the years. And, you know, I'm really excited right now. We've struggled this year, and by golly, these guys right here behind me, they deserve all the credit. They've been there every night. They haven't bad-mouthed me too bad. And sometimes I think they're even on my side.
Is this a bigger win for your team or for Goodyear Tires?
Well, you know, Goodyear, they've hung in there right with us. And, you know, you add it up, and the tire war is just right there neck and neck. But we're getting beat by guys, you know, it seems night after night that are running a different tire. It makes you scratch your head. We might even do some tire testing tonight.
All right, and tell me about this race now. Coming up through the field, you knew you had a good car early, but how much time did you think it would take for you to get to the lead?
Well, I tell you what, Steve's been tough all year, and you know, radios or no radios, that guy is so good. He's got eyes in the back of his head, and I thought he'd be able to block me, and then we have a red, and here comes Danny, you know. I didn't know if we'd pull it off or not, to tell you the truth.
What about the points deal now? I know you can't count you and your father out of this deal, but how far do you think Steve and Danny can get out in front before you need to get real worried?
Well, I'm telling you what, we're real worried right now. You get down 100 points, the way those guys are running night in and night out, you know, it's going to be tough to make up. You know, the Outlaws, it's been a long day, you know, and Don Gravy and the guys, they've done a heck of a job here this weekend, you know, and yeah, Dad. It's been a lot of fun, let me tell you.
All right. Ralph, a happy winter down here, a happy family all the way around.
Oh, absolutely, Bobby. Just for about another 5-10 minutes, and if they do decide to do that tire test here tonight, boy, they'll be right back at it hard. Here's what we're calling our cool move of the night right here as Mark comes up on the inside and gets around Steve to take our Luxair cool move of the race win here tonight. And that will really cool down things for that team too, won't it, Brad?
Sure will. You know, this puts that tire battle even tighter and tighter, and everybody's going to be scratching their head now.
Well, Steve, we all sat there for 7 hours from Eldora, now 5 hours from Terre Haute. What do you think?
I think it was worth it. I think we demonstrated TNN's total commitment to the Benzo World of Outlaws and to it finishing a telecast when we start one, no matter how long it may take. Let's have a look at some of the great moments of this weekend.
Well, it was really kind of a wild night, Brad. We had a couple of fuel stops. We had guys slipping out of the ballpark, people stealing our banners.
I want a tip of the hat to the tape dudes in that truck.
You did an awesome job, Dan.
Oh.
Really did a great job. Some young guys coming up that have shown their stuff. Some of the old veterans showing how strong they are.
Great future.
Darian Hatcher over on this side.